Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 2020 Turkish Grand Prix and the watch-along coverage. We're just about 40 minutes away until the lights go out here. It's mixed conditions. It hasn't rained much overnight, but it did rain this morning. And again, all that water still lying on the track from yesterday. So we're in for a definitely wet start to this Grand Prix, but there is more rain predicted just before the lights go out. We are in for a crazy, crazy race as Lewis Hamilton tries to go for a 7th World Championship. The Istanbul City Circuit, located in Turkey, hosts the 14th round of the Formula One season for 2020. Just 4 races remain in the Formula One campaign of this rescheduled year. For the first time since 2011, it's the Turkish Grand Prix, and it provides Lewis Hamilton with his first opportunity to win a 7th world title. In 2 weeks' time, we are off to Bahrain for the Bahrain Grand Prix. A week later, it's the Sharjah Grand Prix on the Outer Loop circuit, followed by the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on the 13th of December. Lewis Hamilton stands his first chance of winning the 2020 season. He sits on 282 points, Bottas is 197. If Hamilton scores more than 7 more points than Valtteri, he's a 7-time champion. Max Verstappen, well, he's in a battle of his own, really. So it's now looking between Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, Alexander Albon, Pierre Gasly, all in the top 10, fighting for 4th in the championship. On the second page, well, it's then we see Lance Stroll still in the fight with Gasly, just a little bit further behind. Ocon really in 12th place, languishing on his own. And then Danny Kvyat is 13th, and in his worst season in Formula One, Sebastian Vettel is down in 14th place with just 18 points. Nico Hülkenberg, though, still 15th on 10. 4 points apiece for the Alfa Romeo boys. Raikkonen ahead of Giovinazzi, 2 for Grosjean, 1 for Magnussen, and sadly no points on the board for Williams of Latifi or Russell. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes have done it. They were crowned as 7 times champion last time out at Imola. And now Red Bull, well, they've secured in 2nd place, but it's the battle for 3rd. Renault, McLaren, Racing Point, all within a point of each other. The race there is hotting up. Renault 135, McLaren, Racing Point 134. Ferrari is 6th. Yes, 6th on 103. AlphaTauri 89. 8 points for Alfa Romeo. 3 points for Haas. And no points on the board for Williams. Today's the day either Lewis Hamilton wins a 7th world title or Lance Stroll becomes a Grand Prix winner. Either way, it's ready. It's back. Welcome to the Turkish Grand Prix. We've had a weekend full of unpredictability here in the Turkish Grand Prix in Istanbul Park. Let's go right back to Friday, all the way up to qualifying, and take a look at all the sessions that have happened so far. So let's get into the free practice 1 report for the Turkish Grand Prix. Max Verstappen the quickest, but every single driver struggling with the low grip conditions. As Formula One returns to the Turkish Grand Prix and Istanbul for the first time since 2011, the track has been newly resurfaced as well. But it did start a problem. 9 cars spinning in first practice, loads others, all 20 suffering in free practice 2 with errors all around the circuit. But it gets worse because just 4 minutes into the session, the red flag was brought out. Charles Leclerc, slipping out of turn 14, heads towards the pit lane where there's an orange cone bollard bolted down, rips off the bollard and reveals the bolts quite high up that would damage the car beyond repair. So they had to red flag the session, unscrew the bolts and make sure it's all fine. That took around about 10 minutes. When the session restarted, everybody was going for spinning. Max Verstappen said it's like driving on ice, a statement echoed by rivals all the way up and down the pit lane as well. It has been resurfaced as well going forward. not anticipating how slippery the 5.338 kilometre circuit actually would be with the new surfacing job as well. It was only laid a few weeks ago as well, and Pirelli have brought their hardest tyres compounds here for the race. The C1 is the hard, the C2 is the medium, the C3 is the soft. So the hardest compounds at a track where ideally we needed the slowest. They're just not biting into the new rubber, but the track temperature's a little bit different. Further on, Valtteri Bottas was early on the better pace, but 20 seconds slower than what we were thinking would be the times going forward. But the tricky conditions as well, spinning round left, right and centre. Verstappen moved to the top ahead of Bottas. Leclerc eventually finishing third, from Gasly fourth and Vettel fifth. I know, no Red Bull, Ferrari and AlphaTauri in the top three teams, but Mercedes, the fourth fastest team in first practice, they really struggled to get the grips together early on as well. Carlos Sainz forced back into the pits, a small electrical issue as well, but stopped in the final 15 minutes as well. He stopped down at the exit of turn 7, causing a virtual safety car to be called. Several drivers had a spin. Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas as well. A brief moment of joy. Alexander Albon went quickest for the Red Bull teams. Then the Ferraris went quickest when they were thinking something's wrong. And then, of course, we saw Verstappen come back through to go fastest as well. Bottas leading the Mercedes. Hamilton down in 15th place. Gasly looking good early on as well. But the first practice saw hardly any running due to the track conditions. That would all change, though, in free practice 2. But before we move over, let's take a look at the times from free practice 1. Max Verstappen tops the opening practice session for the Turkish Grand Prix, a 1:35.077. Alexander Albon is second on a 1:35.318, and then Charles Leclerc goes into third place at 1:35.507. Pierre Gasly's fourth at 1:35.543. Sebastian Vettel is fifth on a 1:35.620. Danny Kvyat, it goes into sixth place at 1:36.738. Lando Norris is 7th at 1:37.216. Antonio Giovinazzi is 8th at 1:37.503. Valtteri Bottas 9th at 1:37.629. And Esteban Ocon rounds out the top 10 at 1:38.428. Nicholas Latifi is 11th at 1:38.508. Sergio Perez 12th at 1:38.612. Lance Stroll is 13th at 1:39.484. Romain Grosjean 14th at 1:40.025. Lewis Hamilton is 15th at 1:40.225. Kimi Raikkonen 16th at 1:41.035. Kevin Magnussen is 17th at 1:41.854. Danny Ricciardo 18th at 1:45.156. Carlos Sainz is 19th at 1:46.462. And George Russell is 20th at 1:49.256. So on to the free practice 2 report then, and for Max Verstappen, he does the double. Fastest in free practice 1, fastest of all in free practice 2. And Charles Leclerc going second fastest. Ferrari proving that in this unreliable slippiness of the track, temperature and the asphalt changing, they've suddenly got a good car around here. Fantastic pace and fantastic speed. Bottas third, Hamilton fourth, Albon in fifth place as well. But the track was busy all throughout free practice 2. The reason for that is because they all realised, well, this is the best the track's going to go. We've got to rubber up. We've got to do all of the race runs ready so we know what qualifying's going to be. So they all headed out there and all was like, oh, well, this is a bit slippy, isn't it? But a 1:28.330 is all Verstappen managed to do. 7 seconds faster than he managed in the morning session. Still 4 seconds slower than Juan Pablo Montoya's lap record set here in 2005. And these are the fastest Formula 1 cars we've ever had. So this is really, really bizarre. P3 this morning, Leclerc confirmed Ferrari's extraordinary and quite suspicious, really, pace by going into second place as well. Having failed to set a representative time in the morning, Bottas ended up P9, Hamilton was P15, but when they moved around, it was third for Bottas and fourth for Hamilton. Albon led much of the early pace of the session, going faster than the medium tyres, but was over a second back on Verstappen when they put on the full slick, super soft tyres, the Red Mark Softs going out there. Vettel initially lapped closest to his teammate of Leclerc, only P8 in the session, though Verstappen was quite back as well in the early stages of the second half of FP2. Ocon was best placed, Renault in 12th place as well. Lance Stroll and Renault battling it out. Lance Stroll was 9th. Vettel ahead of Lando Norris, who celebrates his 21st birthday, so happy birthday to Lando Norris. McLaren also backing off as well. Completing the top 20, Williams, George Russell 17th, Haas of Grosjean and Magnussen 18th, 19th, and Latifi back in 20th place as well. So a lot of spins in this session as well. A day to get used to a new track surface. Rain, only a very light shower is predicted for tomorrow, so we're really in for a treat for when Formula 1 goes for FP3 in qualifying here at the Turkish Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the times from FP2. Max Verstappen tops the second practice session for the Turkish Grand Prix, a 1:28.330. Charles Leclerc second, a 1:28.731. Valtteri Bottas is third, a 1:28.905. Then Lewis Hamilton fourth, a 1:29.180. Alexander Albon fifth, a 1:29.363. Danny Kvyat sixth, a 1:29.689. Pierre Gasly seventh, a 1:29.944. Sebastian Vettel is eighth, a 1:30.022. Lance Stroll ninth, a 1:32.97. And Lando Norris rounds out the top 10, a 1:30.735. Sergio Perez is in 11th place, a 1:31.104. Esteban Ocon is 12th, a 1:31.380. Antonio Giovinazzi 13th, a 1:31.493. Carlos Sainz is 14th, a 1:31.498. Daniel Ricciardo 15th, a 1:31.660. Kimi Raikkonen 16th, a 1:31.932. George Russell is 17th, a 1:32.302. Romain Grosjean 18th on a 1:32.570, Kevin Magnussen 19th, a 1:32.807, and Nicholas Latifi is 20th, a 1:33.488. So let's get into the free practice 3 report then, and blimey, was it quite strange. Verstappen, quickest again. He's on for a grand slam here, fastest in every session so far across practice 1, 2 and 3. Verstappen's fastest in the final practice session, but heavy, and I mean heavy rain affected the runnings. Intermediate tyres swapped out for full wet tyres. Late on in the session, there was no getting around the fact that it was absolutely biblical. Noah would have gone faster in an arc around here, but it was a slippery session. Verstappen quickest on a now managed top every session, as I said before qualifying. He's topped every practice session for the first time since Mexico. Back in 2018, but he didn't get pole that year, remember, where he won, though, in the race. Here in Turkey, he went on top on a 1:48.485 in terms of the session. Leclerc was second, Albon third, Ocon fourth, Norris fifth. But there was early spinners. Ocon spun round, then Leclerc, Norris also round, Daniel Ricciardo all spinning around. Bottas was way off the pace, he's completing one fastest lap as well. Haas had Grosjean spinning and Magnussen spinning as well. 14 drivers spinning in the first 14 minutes, as we were saying. It was wet, wet, wet in that session. Hamilton never went out to set a time. He did 3 runs to see if the track was good enough. Kimi Raikkonen did a practice start at the end of the session, but it was absolutely flooded. The problem is, the reason that they're so slippy is that there's a new track surface here, and the bitumen, the oil coming through the glue almost to the top of the surface, and it just creates an ice rink with the water. Water and oil don't mix, and it's an ice rink for all of the drivers. It's really not that good. So FP3, a bit of a letdown, but boy, were we excited as well, because this has really got us excited now for qualifying. We're excited in FP3. Qualifying is going to be fantastic. Let's take a look at the times then from FP3. Max Verstappen was fastest then in the third practice session, a 1:48.485. Charles Leclerc is second, a 1:49.430. Alexander Albon third, a 1:50.059. Esteban Ocon fourth, a 1:53.897. Lando Norris fifth, a 1:53.995. Sebastian Vettel sixth, a 1:54.490. Sergio Perez is 7th, a 1:55.577. Valtteri Bottas 8th, a 1:55.666. Kevin Magnussen 9th, a 1:55.878. Lance Stroll rounds out the top 10, a 1:56.824. Danny Ricciardo is 11th at 158.475. Then we get Carlos Sainz 12th at 159.548. Antonio Giovinazzi is 13th at 2 minutes 2.325. Pierre Gasly 14th, 2 minutes 2.473. Romain Grosjean 15th, 2 minutes 4.784. Followed by Kimi Raikkonen 16th at 2 minutes 6.351. And 17th for Danny Kvyat at 2 minutes 9.368. George Russell, Nicholas Latifi and Lewis Hamilton not setting times. Well, let's start as ever with qualifying number 1, and eventually we did get going. Verstappen was top, Grosjean caught out, brought out another red flag with 3 minutes 30 to go, but the session started in biblical conditions. It started on time at the top of the hour, but with 6 minutes and 57 seconds to go, they decided that was it. They were having cars spinning off left, right and centre. The track was flooded more than what we saw in free practice 3, and the track was absolutely not drivable. So they backed out of it, brought out the red flag, and for 45 minutes we sat down and we waited until the session could restart. And when it did, we only had another 3 minutes before Romain Grosjean spun off into the gravel trap at turn 1, doing a 360 around, getting caught out in the banked part of turn 1's apex, and off into the gravel he went, brought out the red flag. Another 10-minute delay, session got restarted, and finally, when it ended, it was the better time. Ocon set the early pace in Renault, 7 seconds separating the entire field, but then we started spins and the red flag came out as well. Gasly and Leclerc in the drop zone. Verstappen was on the bubble as well, but when the session restarted, Leclerc and Gasly got themselves through as Verstappen went fastest overall. Conditions improved. Hamilton failing to improve after running wide at turn 1, losing the lap time. He only stayed 14th fastest. But Kevin Magnussen, Danny Kvyat, George Russell, Romain Grosjean and Nicholas Latifi. Latifi spun off actually into the gravel trap, bringing out the double yellow in the closing minutes. All of them eliminated from the session. And then we got the news that all of the Q1 times that were set in the last minute under the yellow flag were under investigation by the stewards because they'd all gone faster. And that included the eventual pole sitter as well. So eliminated in Q1, we saw Magnussen, Kvyat, Russell, Grosjean and Latifi. Into qualifying 2 then, and Verstappen again was fastest. He was really going for the grand slam of topping every single session, leading every single lap, and winning the race with the fastest lap. He was going for it, wasn't he, by topping Q2. McLaren, though, and Ferrari had their horrible session. Norris out, Vettel out, Sainz out, Leclerc out, and Gasly out as well. It was a completely unpredictable Q2. But qualifying 2 started with the marshal still recovering the car of Nicholas Latifi from the gravel trap, and they sent them out, or just yellows out. Everyone's saying that was way too dangerous. The stewards have said, we apologise and we'll make sure it never happens again. Yeah, they said that 6 years ago. It's a stupid decision. We've got a tractor on the track in these conditions where cars are spinning off, even when it was dry yesterday, and now we've added water to the mix. Don't send the cars out. That was the stupidest decision I think I've seen from Formula 1 and the FIA in recent years. Don't do it again. I think I speak for everyone when I say I mean that. It was horrible seeing that we could have had a major accident and the carelessness of the race director there. Going forward then, as the session headed to the final 4 minutes, the times begin to cut down. It seemed that intermediates were the way to go. Mercedes finally showing pace. Bottas and Hamilton second and third. Alfa Romeo getting through to qualifying 3 for the first time in 2020. Both Raikkonen and Giovinazzi going through. But Ferrari and McLaren eliminated. They never got through. Sainz was summoned to the stewards for allegedly impeding Sergio Perez as well. But knocked out was Norris, Vettel, Sainz, Leclerc and Gasly. And into qualifying 3. Racing Point absolutely blows away the competition. At first, it was Sergio Perez who set the fastest time, initially choosing for intermediates the right point. Lance Stroll, his teammate, doing the same. So for about 2 minutes to go, it was a racing point 1-2 with Perez on pole and Stroll in second. Verstappen came up and managed to split them, but it was a mega time, not just from Sergio Perez, but from Lance Stroll. 1.5 seconds faster. It is a fantastic time that put him onto pole position. It is Lance Stroll on pole position, the first Canadian since Jacques Villeneuve to take pole at 22 years and 17 days. He's the 5th youngest driver in Formula 1 history to take a pole position. Perez was quickest, but it did end up with Stroll from Verstappen in second, and then Perez starts third, and I think we've got Albon in fourth as well. It is going to be a fantastic race. The top 5 then from this one, it's Stroll, Verstappen, Perez, Albon and Ricciardo, the top 5. When was the last time we saw Mercedes not on the front row or anything else bar a Red Bull, Ferrari or Mercedes take a pole position, you ask? Well, it was a Williams front row at the Austria Grand Prix in 2014. That was the last time, 7 years ago. Wow. Right, here's the starting grid then for the 2020 Turkish Grand Prix. Lance Stroll takes his first ever pole position, lines up on the front row alongside Max Verstappen. The second row sees Sergio Perez alongside Alexander Albon. Third row, Danny Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton. Right now where he stands, he will be world champion. We'll update you with all the permutations throughout the Grand Prix as well. Esteban Ocon starts 7th, Kimi Raikkonen 8th, and the 5th row sees Valtteri Bottas and Antonio Giovinazzi. The 6th row is an all Ferrari affair, Sebastian Vettel alongside Charles Leclerc. Then we get Kevin Magnussen alongside Pierre Gasly, 13th for Gasly, 14th for Magnussen. Row 8, Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris both receiving 5-place grid penalties. Well, for Lando Norris, it was for speeding under the yellow flags. For Carlos Sainz, it was for impeding Sergio Perez. Then we get Kvyat and Grosjean and Latifi and Russell starts at the back. Russell also getting 2 penalties, 1 for a new gearbox issue and 1 also for not failing to slow under the yellow flag. So we are almost set to go for the Grand Prix. I'm about to be joined in the commentary box by Ian Burch and Megan Burch. So let's take a look around the Istanbul circuit on Lap Attack. Let's take a look around the 5.338 kilometre circuit of Istanbul Park. 58 laps ahead of us, a lap record of a 120.770 set by one Pablo Montoya in 2005. Start the lap, head downhill, open up the DRS zone into the downhill braking zone for turn 1. Be careful not to let the car go too deep, but you can pick up a very late apex as you hurtle uphill through 2 into the uphill heavier braking zone into turn 3. Banked part of the circuit, you immediately drop down the hill to turn 4. A sharp 90-degree right-hander into the 90-degree left at turn 5 and 6. Open up the kinetic energy system of the car as you launch uphill towards turn 7 before the fearless triple apex of turn 8. The drivers say this one is really going to be felt on the necks. 3 times left, left and left again, all by trying to keep at full throttle at over nearly 200 miles an hour in a 2020 car. Drop down the hill, another 90 left into the braking zone at turn 9 and turn 10, back up towards the second DRS detection point on the track at turn number 11. Now run all the way uphill with the DRS open into the braking zone of turn 12. Scene, of course, of Red Bull making their famous 1-2 crash in 2010. Hard on the brakes and overtaking opportunity here before the quick kink into turn 13 and the last corner turn 14. Hug the inside curve, open up the DRS once again and fire it to a line. That is a lap of the Istanbul Park circuit here for the Turkish Grand Prix. And you're back with us live here for the 2020 Turkish Grand Prix. The chairs aren't occupied just yet. Ian Burch and Megan Burch on their way. They've been detained as they are looking at the track conditions, which I'm delighted to tell you is wet, wet, wet. The entire track is flooded. More rain is coming in around about half an hour's time. The race looks to start behind the safety car. Now, with that also, it means that do we go into a procedure where we see the formation laps take place and then we start the race? Or is Michael Masi, the race director, actually just going to go and say, this is the opening lap of the Grand Prix, we are starting behind the safety car? They've got 14 minutes and 38 seconds to decide whether or not that is the plan or not. Good morning, Gwenwyn. I can see you in the group chat as well. Good morning, everybody watching as well. What a grid we have lining up. Lance Stroll on pole position for the first time in his Formula One career. And anything can happen into that downhill section of turn number 1. To give you an idea, these are the notes I have up in the commentary box. There's the track map. None of it at the moment is saying what we're going to have for rain. That's because we've never had a wet race here at the Turkish Grand Prix. Today will be a first. As I'm just looking into one of the monitors, Antonio Giovinazzi has got back to the grid. So in case you weren't watching other broadcasters, Antonio Giovinazzi went off the track and crashed into the barrier. He has managed to recover with a broken front wing back to the pit lane. Sergio Perez went off at the last corner, was able to continue. But on the way to the grid, going off the track, was George Russell. He's broken his front wing. Both Williamses starting from the pit lane. And that was a bit... there's a plane just sort of somersaulting down to the track there. And that almost scared me, Megan Burch, without your windshield. Where's your windshield gone? So is that again?
Probably knocked it off again.
Well, Megan...
Oh, there it is.
Aha, here it is. Look, this is what I'm on about the windshield. So Megan will get ready. Good morning to you. Good morning, Megan. Well, what it is going to be, because it's a wet Grand Prix, finally. But slightly nervous because the track surface here isn't exactly sublime, is it?
How long do you think this will last without red flags, just so I can get an idea of how much red flag...
Well, it's a 2-hour Grand Prix inside a 4-hour period. So the maximum this race can last from the start of the formation lap to the end is 4 hours. Then we have to count in the 2-hour clock for the race that will tick down. So it's a 2-hour race inside a 4-hour period. So I hope everybody's ready to get going today, because it looks like we will be starting this race behind the safety car.
I honestly hope that we don't have a red flag.
I'm thinking we might go 2 laps and then we'll get the race stopped, because 3 laps even.
You were telling me you had a bad feeling.
Yeah, I've had bad feelings. It does look like the rain has stopped ever so slightly, which is great news. Ian Burch just joins us in the commentary box now as well, as we get ready for the start of this Grand Prix. Another 12 minutes until the parade lap begins, but as you come in, we've got so much to talk about today. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and don't think you're happy about the rain, are you? There's your headset for you in front. Let's see. Good afternoon to you. So, what are you thinking of the weather today, Ian Burch? Good afternoon, Dad. Good morning, even.
It's wet.
It's just wet, 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 isn't it? At the moment, so it's going to be an interesting one. I'm just going to lean over to put something onto the television.
We saw it coming at the start of the Sky programme when it was a big, massive black cloud.
Yeah, and it's just sort of dumped over the track.
What this means is it won't dry out.
Yeah, so no look for dry tyres. They've all got 2 sets of intermediates, both new and old. They've only got 1 set of full wets brand new and 2 sets old.
This is the most unusual top 4 I've ever seen. It's a Racing Point, Red Bull, Racing Point, Red Bull.
I know, it's a completely bizarre, mixed-up grid as well. We'll just tell you, first of all, how Lewis Hamilton can win the title today. If Bottas finishes first and gets the fastest lap, the title goes on to Bahrain. If Bottas finishes first, Hamilton must finish second or better. If Bottas is second and fastest lap, Hamilton needs 4th. Bottas second, Hamilton needs 5th and the fastest lap, or 4th. If Bottas is third and gets the fastest lap, Hamilton needs 5th. If Bottas finishes third, Hamilton needs 6th. If Bottas is 4th and gets the fastest lap, Hamilton needs 7th, which is where he currently is. If Bottas gets 5th in the fastest lap, Hamilton needs 8th. Bottas 5th, Hamilton 9th and fastest lap, or 8th. If Bottas finishes 6th and gets the fastest lap, Hamilton needs 9th. If Bottas finishes 6th, Hamilton needs 10th. And if Bottas is outside the top 7, Hamilton is world champion, which is currently how it stands.
If Hamilton is, if Bottas is out, Hamilton is world champion.
Yep, absolutely, because the gap will
Go
be more
Lewis.
needed.
What happens if Hamilton goes out?
Then the title fight goes on to Bahrain. Or we just wait for, even if Hamilton goes out, we then need Bottas out. And then the championship is done.
Yeah, because if Lewis is out and then Bottas is out, then Bottas can't score the necessary points.
So it's all sort of wrapping around.
So Lewis would be out and world champion.
Just trying to find out the right broadcasting stuff here at the moment. So we're trying to find out whether or not we've got a safety car start or not. And I cannot find a safety car start information on our commentary monitor, which usually YouTube means that we're going to go for a full start. They've got 9 minutes, and they've got until the 5-minute signal. 60% chance of rain for this session. Are they blind or something out there today? It looks a little bit more than 60%. We're just getting up the YouTube chat as well, so we've got everything ready. We have a timing tower, which is just alongside Megan's head. That'll be up during the race as well. Whether or not we'll start behind the safety car or not, we'll go through the permutations as we go.
Maggie, does it hurt having that timing tower above your head?
There's a lot of information on top of your head there, Megs, and it's not there just yet.
When isn't there?
It's not. Yeah, that's a good point. It's not been opened up to you lot yet. We'll open it up just a second as we get all the graphics fitted. Megan, I think we've already got comments in the group chat. So if you want to go on that.
Gwenwell says, hello, how are you?
Oops,
Good.
how are we all?
I'm
We're all good.
pretty pumped. Earlier I watched my first full Super Formula 1 race. Hopefully this one doesn't disappoint.
Super Formula.
The Super Formula was even
Yeah.
better. I heard that race as well. Just trying to move the dock around.
I haven't seen it. What happened?
The Super Formula. Oh, it was a very good race. I'm not going to spoil it if anyone hasn't watched it. We try and avoid spoilers as much as possible.
Just going to have to write it down.
No sign of the safety car being started. I think we've got everything set up how we usually have it, which is great news. No sign of the safety car. Though. I just realised I haven't got a tissue in the commentary box, which is even more sniffles.
Well, we'll all fall down.
I think Megan's going to save me here. I think she's got one in her pocket. Oh, that'll do. Thank you very
She's
much.
only used it once.
I've never used it. This is a pocket. I have specific pockets.
It was a joke, Meg.
I've got 2. Thank you, Megan. We're waiting for the start then of the Grand Prix. We are around, that's how long's left on the clock? 8 minutes to go. The cars are all fitted with full wet weather tyres. And the problem is, Megan, we saw in free practice 3, Kimi Räikkönen try and do a practice start. You saw how much the wheels spun. He barely got any traction. So it's going to be treacherous down to turn 1. Expect this to... I can't show it. Expect the red flag to come out at some point today. Because this is going to be a crazy, crazy Grand Prix.
You sure that heater is on
Low.
heat?
It's on heat, yeah. Do you want to... Megan, if you just turn it up a little bit, please.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, down I go.
See, it's easy to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Now it's just me and you, Meg.
There you go. A little bit more heat for you.
Not
If
for
it
long.
gets too much, let me know.
Yeah, because I wear shorts.
Yeah, you're wearing... I'm wearing these sort of Eddie Jordan, David Coulthard trousers today.
Rupert the bear.
We must admit also, are we going to get the
How does
Magnums
that
today? Who thinks we're going to get Magnums?
Hopefully.
Let's just...
Ice
hungry.
cream, not booze.
No, not booze, the ice cream Magnums. We've got milk chocolate and white chocolate, and I can't wait to have the white chocolate one. It's my favourite.
Well, we've got more than 3.
We've got 7,
How have we got 7?
because there was a pack of 4 and a pack of 3.
Wow.
So there's 7. There you go. Hamilton will be world champion for the
There's only
7th
5 of
time,
us.
unless Bottas outscores him by at least 8 points. Well, there's 2 for spare.
And 2 for Josh.
Yeah, just put me fat belly here. Oh, got
You
ready.
think
Two
he's going to
for
get the
Meg.
extra one?
Yeah. Right, we've had no sign of the race, or at least the formation lap starting behind the safety car, and we are coming up to the start procedure. So there's no call. They can leave it up to 4 minutes until the start of the race.
Have you already mentioned the fact that we've already got the 2 Williams
Yes,
starting
yeah.
from the pit lane, one of which George Russell, when he came in, managed to hit the wall on the way in because he has no grip.
Yeah.
Giovinazzi had an incident where he got stuck in the gravel, but he loosened himself from the gravel and then surprised everybody, including the people laying the flag on the pit lane,
As he came through.
because he had to go. They had to get the flag out of the way quickly so that
Oh, dear.
he could actually go through. because you've got to go past all the cars to get back to the pit lane, according to him.
Dear me.
I didn't think you did.
I didn't think you did either. Race engineer Pete Bonington tells Lewis Hamilton, by now ought to have a notification if we are starting the race behind the safety car. So we are expecting a normal start. So Bono telling Lewis it's a normal start procedure.
Perez as well. You see the advert. Like you look at the front of this Audi, and you think of the front of your mum's car. That's why Chevrolets look like Audis.
They're so good, aren't they? We're waiting then for the start procedure. 5 red lights will come on, and then I take it, I'll say action, and just see what happens. It's more likely going to be drama into turn 1. The Turkish Grand Prix is about to get underway. We're around about 40 seconds from welcoming our radio listeners as well at the end of the World Feed intro. So when we stop talking, if you want to sync up, when the music comes on at the start, after the World Feed intro from FOM, if you want to sync up coverage there, and we will also welcome our radio listeners to the broadcast, and we will get going as well. So, the Turkish Grand Prix is about 5 minutes away. Are we starting behind the safety car? Are we starting with the 5 lights? Drama in Istanbul. We're about to see some action. Istanbul host the Formula One season 14th round of this rescheduled calendar. And for the first time since 2011, this beautiful city will play host to a Grand Prix. And for the first time, it could host a World Championship-defining moment. Hamilton could equal Schumacher's 7th title this weekend. It's also very misleading. There's no sunshine here today. It is wet, wet, wet. Istanbul has the largest population in Europe. It ranks as the world's 15th most populated country. It's the first Turkish Grand Prix since 2011, the 8th occasion it's been held in this country, and the first ever wet Turkish Grand Prix around this 3.316 mile circuit. It's treacherous, it's undulating, a maximum elevation change of 40.8 metres. Don't bother with the DRS today. It will not dry out. And forget Juan Pablo Montoya's record from 2005. Turn 1 at the start is usually an action zone in itself, but it's also a very good overtaking spot. Hamilton versus Button in 2010 proved it was possible, and they taught a lesson to the 2 Red Bulls at the time of Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber, who's commentating on Channel 4 today. I don't know how much he wants to keep seeing that backwards. As we see, turn 14 as well is also a repass opportunity to lunge up the inside. Kovalainen did the same with Rosberg, with the Williams and McLaren back in 2008. No sign at the moment that we are having a safety car start. There's your tyres for you. The C3 soft, C2 medium, C1 hard. I don't think we're going to be seeing them today, so keep an eye out for the blue wet and the green intermediate. We'll update you throughout the race as well. And this is usually around the time we'll find out if we have a safety car start. But here's the starting grid. For the first time in his career, Lance Stroll is on pole position. Max Verstappen starts alongside him on the first row. Repeat that for Racing Point and Red Bull. Perez alongside Albon on row 2. The third row sees Daniel Ricciardo and then Lewis Hamilton, his worst qualifying of the season, discounting the penalty in Austria. Back goes Esteban Ocon and Kimi Räikkönen on the fourth row. The fifth row then sees in the top 10 Valtteri Bottas and Antonio Giovinazzi, his best qualifying of the year, Bottas' worst. Row 6 is an all-Ferrari affair. Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc after penalties for the 2 McLarens. So row 8 then sees Kevin Magnussen and Lando Norris. Further back, we see Carlos Sainz alongside Dani Kvyat with the penalty applied. And then in 17th and 18th, it's Romain Grosjean. A pit lane start for Nicholas Latifi. And then on the back row of the grid, we will see Pierre Gasly having to start 19th. And George Russell also starting from the pit lane. No sign of the race starting behind the safety car or any of the formation laps. So this is going to be very tricky. I'm expecting Ian Burch and Megan Burch at least a start delay. They were going off on the way to the grid, not even at full speed.
Well, you know, this is going to be a second gear start here so that you pull away slowly. Otherwise, you won't get the traction on the grid. You'll wheel spin. And if you wheel spin, the guy behind you who's got away will go straight into the back of you. This is a special track for a certain person, Sebastian Vettel, Megan's favourite.
Vettel's, it was first ever race was here back in 2006.
First ever race for Sauber was here. He was 19 years old, looked 13, and he had a broken finger from
The accident.
the previous race
yeah.
that he'd done in, I think it was GP2.
I think it was GP2, yeah. And
How
he
did he get through that?
he had to drive like this with his finger up in the air. Starting from pole position for the first time, he's fifth. He's the fifth youngest pole sitter in F1 history. Lance Stroll, at 22 years old, is the fifth youngest ever pole sitter. There's your starting tyres then.
And the first Canadian since Jacques Villeneuve.
Since 1997. Yeah, the last year he had it.
That was before either of us were even born.
Latifi and Russell are starting this race on the intermediate, so I think
Yeah.
they're going to change to the softs. I can't see them. To the full wets. I can't see them doing that going forward. It's 1:10 in Turkey, and we are underway. They gingerly move away. It looks okay getting away, so maybe we will have a race start after all.
You've got to look at the spray, and the spray's not too bad, is it?
It's
And
just the traction,
you know.
really.
Just remember this is formation lap, so they're all going slower.
But this is also, remember, Giovinazzi went off on the way to the grid, so did Russell. It's treacherous into turn one. I can't believe, personally, look, they're sliding at low speed, and I can't believe they're not going to delay this start and start it behind the safety car. This is ridiculous.
Well, they want dramatic action, don't they? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Lewis has never
Yeah?
not been cautious at any race, but every time he's up for a championship, he seems to be more cautious. You've got to remember that of his 6 championships up to now, he won 3 of them when he wasn't on the podium.
Yeah.
So, you know, it could be a 4th time not being on the podium today, but I hope he wins it in style. But I also have this nagging feeling that quite a few of the front runners won't actually make it.
I think the same thing. Megan?
We can see, well, it's saying it's light rain for near the end of the race, and it's overcast for the start, though I highly doubt that, since I've seen today's race thing, and it's even a bit of light rain, given the current track conditions, is going to affect it dramatically.
Absolutely, as well. I just got caught on the chair that's in the side of the commentary box if I need to sit down. Everyone is starting this race, by the way, on the full wet tyres. It's interesting to note as well, if your name is Stroll or Verstappen, this race has never been won by anybody off the front row. So it's also been won from pole position on 6 of the 8 occasions. The only time it hasn't was 2009 and 2010, when it was Button and Hamilton winning. So this Lance Stroll stands a very good chance in today's race. So they're all coming to the grid then. The tensions are beginning to rise. I don't know about you two, but my heart is starting to pulp as well, because it's a slippery surface and there's no grip on the start line.
Well, considering I'm missing one of my heart tablets, yeah.
Oh dear, okay. Oh, you want to say that? Here we are. Oh, we're just hearing the sad news that Des O'Connor has died. Oh, we do. Oh, that is horrible to start this broadcast. So Des O'Connor's died. That's so. Oh, that's terrible news. So we send our sympathies also. We just got told that in the box. So they're lining up on the grid then. They're all coming into position. They're getting stopped. No, Verstappen's missed his grid box. Verstappen's gone a little bit too far and looks to have missed his grid box. So the start procedure is coming up, and half the grid, Megan, aren't actually lined up yet. That's a bit bizarre. And look, even Christian Horner's thinking what's going on. Verstappen was braking, and I think he's gone past the jump line. What do you think?
Yeah, he could get a... he could get we need an on-board, an above the idea camera shot, because we need to know whether or not he's outside that
the yellow
grid
line
spot.
Oh,
they're sliding to the back. Pierre Gasly lines up in 19th. So, here we go then. The Turkish Grand Prix for the first time since 2011. Lance Stroll could be another different winner. Hamilton's going for 7th heaven. 5 red lights are on. It's action in Istanbul. Everyone very cautious away. Verstappen sort of bogged down. It's Stroll leading into turn 1. Hamilton's up into 3rd place already. Then Ocon's going side by side. Hamilton hits Ricciardo. Ocon spins. Bottas spins as well. Is anyone going to collect him? The Haas cars go through. Bottas comes around, and already it's treacherous. Hamilton started 6th. He's up into 2nd place already. Although it's saying Red Bull 1-2 up the hill for the first time. Vettel, I think, is in 3rd place. Ricciardo's going round. Bottas spinning. They're all very treacherous. Downhill towards turn 5 for the first time. Are they all going to get through okay? One of the Red Bulls going wide. I think that's Alexander. No, that must be Max Verstappen. Albon's going a little bit too deep as well. We've got one of the McLarens of Norris going wide. Raikkonen going past Magnussen. He loves these conditions, doesn't he? So it's a clean start from everyone. It was a very quick lights out. I don't think that was the right decision because everyone's wheels just was spinning like mad, and surprisingly we thought Stroll was going to get the worst start. He was on the wetter part of the track, but it was actually Verstappen who got the worst start. He was on the drier side of the track. Into turn 8 now. This is the real treacherous point. Verstappen trying to get past 4th place. And we've got a yellow already out on the circuit. Someone's gone wide, but it's Lance Stroll leading the race from Sergio Perez already. A 1-2 for Racing Point. Yellow out. I can't see who it is, but they're coming out thick and fast. And off goes Hamilton. Hamilton off now, gets back on the track.
And we have another yellow.
And Vettel goes right round the outside as well. Verstappen coming back to the inside of Hamilton. Downhill, yellow out again. More cars going off. Bottas back to 15th. Leclerc, Grosjean, Norris as well having trouble. Ocon and Bottas drop right back. Hamilton comes back down in towards turn 18.
Bottas is last. It was him that was off.
Bottas off again as Hamilton side by side with Verstappen trying to pull round the outside. Hamilton wide and almost gets collected by Ricciardo as Ocon. So that's Albon slipped wide as Hamilton's already dropped back. As you're right, Ocon's dropped back to 20th now. He's gone wide.
Bottas is in 19th.
What a crazy start to this race. And another yellow flag has come out on the circuit in the 3rd sector. It's Grosjean, I believe, who spun round as this is very treacherous. Lap 2 of 58 completed. Wow.
Yeah, no grip out there. Lewis, great start by Lewis. Bad start by Max. I think Mad Max tried a
tried to really go.
Third gear start, and he didn't do it.
Bogged down massively, didn't he?
Didn't wheel spin, so it wasn't a gear 1 start. It was definitely and it didn't look like a gear 2 start. It looked like too much traction trying on a slippery surface, and
Ocon pits for full wet.
Slow but steady getaway by Mad Max.
And Verstappen's right behind Sebastian Vettel. Vettel has made a storming start. Up already from 11th place on the grid to 3rd.
Are you surprised? Vettel has always been good in the wet.
He has, and right now, look at this. Stroll and Perez, 1-2 for Racing Point. Well, the team's got good heritage in wet, tricky conditions. Just look back to when they were Jordan in 98.
I don't know about you two, but I'm thinking Max with Sebastian in front of him. Wet surface.
Yeah, that's never going to go well, is it? As already Verstappen runs a little bit too wide coming out of turn 11. Downhill now to the braking zone for turn 12. Everybody trying desperately to keep control. And where do you brake into turn 14? That's the question. Stroll, a 1:55, 1:25. The fastest lap of the race so far. Everyone really improving.
Well, Bottas seems to be going okay now.
Verstappen got too much of the curb, but he lost time. Ocon says that Bottas crashed into him. I thought they both just lost it. Ocon saying steering. Ocon saying the steering's gone. That's what's causing his problems.
How can you tell on this surface?
Yeah, how do you tell? You're sliding left and right. This might be an old radio message because he's coming to change tyre.
What damage has Bottas done to his car?
Yeah, he's got flat spots for sure, but that might help him in these conditions. It is a full wet race.
He is actually moving at the moment. We can see them on the driver tracker. He's moving quite well.
He's right behind Grosjean for an overtake.
So I don't know what damage he's got. We haven't seen a replay of that incident, have we?
I must admit, though, I am very excited for this Grand Prix because look who's leading. It's Lance Stroll. Let's take a look at the start. Watch Verstappen. He was over his line, wasn't he? And he just got no grip. Neither of the two Red Bulls did. Hamilton launches forward. Stroll gets a fantastic start. Perez is already into second. And the two Renaults side by side. Oh, it was Ricciardo having to avoid Hamilton, who tagged the back of Ocon, and Bottas spins in sympathy at turn 1. That was a very Villeneuve 97 at Brazil when he just spun to avoid a car. As look at that, Ricciardo almost collected Verstappen, who was slow starting. And this race is really getting bizarre. What do you think from Verstappen? Just bogged down? He did look. He was in third gear. You're right. Right call with third
gear.
Megan?
I think he didn't get a good enough grip, though. As soon as he got into the wet, he's just started to get grip.
And he's just cars spinning off left, right, and centre at turn 1. It's always an action zone. This is on board with Daniel Ricciardo. So look, he gets a fantastic start.
And he gets off in second gear.
Yeah, and he was trying to get in front, but Verstappen moved across to block off from Perez. And look at Hamilton, dives up the inside, and Ricciardo has to move and just tags his teammates. I know it's rule 1 and all, but that was just a racing incident. They were going into a slot.
I don't see what Lewis could have done any different there. There's no grip.
Yeah, look, Bottas had to react, and he moved the steering wheel slightly and unsettled the rear. And on this surface round,
there's no way that Lewis could see that Bottas would get shunted off there.
No, and there was no way that Ocon could have seen Hamilton either.
It's just the luck of the draw.
That's a typical turn 1 in Turkey, and it was just so chaotic. So the race is underway then here for the Grand Prix, and right now we are seeing some really bizarre action. As well as that is Bottas spinning again. So you were right, Dad, with what you said.
Yeah, there was 2 spins for Bottas. The first was caused by an incident where he got clipped. The second one was him and Ocon, apparently.
So they spun off again. The second time because Ocon's down the order.
Not really their day, is it?
No, it's not, is it? And this means at the moment that Lewis Hamilton is the world champion for 2020, but there's an awful long way to go. 55 more laps of this and more rain predicted in around about 10 minutes' time. So anything can happen. And if it rains even more, we might see a safety car. We might even see a red flag. But so far, they're lapping about 2 minutes a lap, 154s.
The strange thing is that what do you do if you're Bottas now? Because if you put your foot down, you're not going to really do anything but go off.
Ocon doesn't know what anyone else is doing, so Ocon's stuck back. I think he's the same situation, isn't he? So what's going to happen? We're hearing over the radio. The battle at the moment on the track is between Verstappen and Vettel, 3rd and 4th in reverse order. Vettel ahead of Verstappen. As Stroll on the radio. Oh, Stroll's saying it's drying up. Stroll says it's drying up, but everybody else is still tiptoeing around. Yeah, it might be drying up now because you've got the world's best hoovers out there, but more rain is coming. Megan, group chat.
Valtteri, this is Toto, spin for Lewis.
I wouldn't be surprised I would be very surprised if there was team orders there. Stroll is finding grip everywhere. A 1:54.170 and he's set a new fastest lap. He's 6 seconds ahead of Perez now and is lapping him around about 0.2 quicker per lap. As the spray isn't too bad anymore, it's just a question of the track limits. You're right, yeah, Bottas 2 times crashed into him. So you're absolutely right there.
Yeah, Ocon's saying on the radio that Bottas has hit him twice.
The sunshine, look, at the back half of the circuit.
Well, come on, Seb.
There's sunshine at turn 4 and 5, but more rain is coming. That was what was predicted by the race engineers as well. So Michael Masi, maybe the correct decision this time to start the race on foot. Just start the race with 5 lights, but it's closer.
Vettel and Verstappen getting very close at that corner, no grip.
Turn 6, it's turn 8 that we've got to watch out for again. The 4 corner.
I predict that both of these two will go off.
Yeah, I think they are. Look, and Verstappen's already running very wide and getting on the white line. That's not the line to be on in wet conditions. He's going to try and pull back. Through turn 8 we go. You
can see Max lining him up.
Yeah.
Right, it's to Max. Let's get on with it. You know, he's not bothered. Sebastian's got so much wet weather driving experience, but even him on this track,
he can't get through. Yeah. And it's a Ferrari. He's struggling to pass as well. That's something else that you've got to think about.
Little tweak of the back end there for Sebastian.
We're getting loads of emails through at the same time, and I think it's lagging the stream, so we do apologise as well. I think internet connectivity has just been restored for emails. It's really starting to annoy me. Verstappen closing up behind Vettel now, as you say. Look, here's another one. That's so annoying. Hopefully we're back on now. And look at that. Perez, fastest lap. A 150. Oh, hang on. Perez, a 153.215 fastest lap. But look at Verstappen. He's very close now behind him of Vettel.
Seb is actually holding everybody else up.
Yeah, it's a Vettel train at the moment, isn't it? He's got to get through at some point. It's starting to affect everything and everyone.
Great day, though, at the moment for the Pink Mercs, 1 and 2.
And I think they're going to be very, very, very happy.
A 10-second gap between Perez and Vettel.
Is it? 10 seconds, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Just saying from Bottas on the radio as well. One of the Alfa Romeos is off, and through goes one of the McLarens.
Sainz.
Yep, so it was Sainz. That was Russell dropping off the circuit. This is Kvyat with a battle. No, who is this on the track? We're trying to find out. Yes, it was Gasly, Leclerc.
Yeah, that's Leclerc.
Norris
so
and Bottas. Yeah, the back
if that's
half.
Leclerc, that's Gasly in front of him.
Yeah, so Leclerc, Gasly is 13th at the top of the hill. They're all in mixed up orders here. You're seeing
The driver
cars that aren't
tracker,
there.
there is about 8 cars that you can't read their names because of the fact that
Off, Lando
they're
Norris.
so close together. Lando going off there.
He's gone wide at turn 4 and 5. He's come back into the pass of Valtteri Bottas. Bottas trying to go right round the outside and almost taking both of them out of the race. Downhill to turn 5 and Bottas running wide now. It's still very
First
treacherous.
time we've seen Bottas's car. Doesn't look like there's any damage on it.
No, so he looks okay to continue, which is great news. Raikkonen saying it's so slippery out now. What's this? I'm still fairly new to the DRS concept. No DRS. Yes, no DRS in wet weather conditions. So the DRS has been disabled in wet weather because it just becomes too unstable and you crash. So, yeah, the DRS is disabled for this race so far. If it gets dry enough and we go to dry tyres, we might see the DRS open. But right now it's predicted a full wet race. Fastest lap for Perez, a 1:53.030. So he's beginning to close down that gap.
Never liked DRS anyway.
I never liked DRS. We're seeing much more fun action without it here today. So down into the back half of the circuit we go through turn 11. This is
It's
where
like
the rivers were.
fan boosting for Formula E. I don't see the point. It should be about the skill of the driver with the unit he's got underneath him and not artificial aids.
At the moment, we're seeing a big gap now as
Why do I
Kvyat.
always have problems with my microphone?
There you go. Oh, that's a point. There you go. Leclerc pits and Leclerc sliding into the pits now. Is this for intermediates, do you think?
I doubt it.
It'd be pretty...
It'd be well, he might as well from there.
Russell is on intermediates, as is Latifi. So if it's...
He
let's
might
see.
as well.
It is Inters.
It is drying out, so...
It's Inters. That's a brave choice. So intermediate tyres going then for Charles Leclerc. Let's see what he can do. And now everyone's going to be watching him. We just saw Karun Chatnock at the top of the pit lane watching on. So Ted Kravitz also reporting.
I know it's early on a Sunday for you, Meg, but you used to get up at 6 o'clock on a weekday, so
Megan's
you should be awake.
Megan's got her calculator. She's working out some track maps, I think. What are you doing?
Star Wars.
All right, never mind. I've got to go back.
I'm calculating something else. I've
Okay.
been wondering about it for years.
Okay, so
Okay.
Megan's calculating some other things out while we take a look. As Verstappen's getting very wide. The sun's coming out. I can see sunshine reflecting off the halo there, Verstappen. No, the rain's coming. Megan is our meteorologist here. She can tell us if there's more rain. Latifi saying, I don't know what I can do. It's ridiculous and dangerous. And he's on intermediate, so maybe he should come in to put the wets on. Just saying, stay on the track. The tyre will come for it. So let's just see what's going to happen. Fast laps then for Perez. And
Yeah,
it's coming down.
Latifi is 40 seconds behind Leclerc because of the fact that he's pitted. Leclerc is now pitted, and you'd expect that gap to have gone. So while Leclerc was on he's got a better car and he was on the better tyres, right? He must have been about a 70-odd second lead he had over Latifi.
Bottas being said, I'm not going to be able to go through the chain ahead, so might as well try something. Well, that's a wise decision, I think. You may as well try something.
He's calling for intermediates.
Yeah, he wants Inters, doesn't he? 406 racing laps been completed at Istanbul Park. These are the first 8 to be in wet conditions, as we said. As we're just hearing another again from Bottas on the radio in our ears. But Stroll leads 5.4 seconds to Sergio Perez. Vettel third, Verstappen fourth. And right now they're all struggling to pass because they're all just trying to get through. Bottas pits and puts on the intermediate tyres. So he's going to try a brave strategy. And I think, as you said, you may as well try it. He's that far back, he may as well.
Oh, he's back to 19th now.
Yeah, one safety car. He's right back into the mix.
Yeah, that's what he's planning.
And there's bound to be a safety car at some point today. He's 2.6 second stops. The pit stops aren't affected by the weather. Verstappen getting very close to Vettel now. Vettel going a little bit too wide out of the corners. Hamilton's closing him up now. And Albon's in the middle of this little battle as well, but not going for overtakes. Time to change. Leclerc is flying on Inters. And he is. Leclerc is doing fastest sector 2 and fastest sector 3. So he wants Inters. Hamilton saying it's pointless for him right now. Well, that must be for intermediates. He wants intermediates as well. So he's got to... and Vettel pits.
Vettel pits, yeah.
Vettel comes in, and I think this might be for Inters. Hamilton's calling for Inters as well. So everybody now starting to come in and play for the Inters.
There is a dry line starting to appear, though.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, the biggest hoovers in the world, these cars.
And they'll get the water up in no time. So it's just a question of the slippery surface. Inters goes on for Vettel. Hamilton pits as well. Puts on the intermediate tyres. And he will remain in still the championship winning situation because Bottas is scoring no points. So Hamilton is currently the world champion. So 7 titles. And Ferrari and Mercedes, 2.8 second stops each. And look at the spray still out turn 1. If he's not careful, Lewis, there'll be a little bit of a spin into the wall there. He controls it nicely. And don't go over the white line either, that you get a penalty if you do. So half the field now deciding that maybe now's the time to come in for intermediates. Raikkonen in, Magnussen in, Giovinazzi's in. I think Kvyat's in as well in the pit lane. They're all on wets, but we don't need to see that. We need to see who's in the pit lane. Yep, Giovinazzi, Kvyat, Raikkonen has stopped 9.9 seconds. A 10-second stop for Raikkonen. That's a really bad stop as well. Something must have happened there. So all that good advantage in qualifying from Raikkonen is just gone in the space of one bad pit stop. Alfa Touray did a 2.3 second stop. Alfa Romeo on the other car was about another 6 seconds. It's not going well. Racing Point Stroll, box. So they're calling in the leader. Stroll pits. Now the question is, can he hold off the advantage as everyone starts to get used to the intermediates? Has Stroll got enough time? Where will he filter out? He'll filter out just behind Ricciardo and ahead of Sainz. 26 seconds.
But will he be able to, I
don't know. We're about to find out. Stroll pits. Sergio.
I don't like this.
Stroll pits. Sergio Perez takes the lead of the Turkish Grand Prix. Still a Racing Point leading. So Stroll in intermediates. This time Stroll does manage to get it stopped on the marks, unlike 2 weeks ago in Imola. And it's a nice smooth stop, 2.9 seconds, and away he goes. Verstappen and Albon to second and third. Stroll might just come out ahead of Ricciardo here. Ricciardo's coming into turn 1. Stroll is exiting. A perfect timed stop there from Racing Point, and Stroll comes out in 4th, and effectively the net lead of the race as well, as the top 3 still yet to pit and behind. So Stroll, that was a master class gamble there. So 3.4 second stop for Latifi. He's now put into zone.
Is intermediates the best thing if rain is coming?
I know, that's what I've been thinking. Let's hear from Verstappen. Verstappen saying, let's not go too early on the Inter. So, yeah, you're thinking the same thing. If more rain's coming, you don't want to risk it as well. And he will have effectively the net lead of the race if Perez decides to pit. Or is Perez going to play back marker for Stroll? And this is Charles Leclerc getting on the water. And off the track goes one of the Williams. I think that's George Russell, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Leclerc right round the outside. Thank you very much. That's my turkey dinner sorted. I've been coming up with puns all day. Bottas,
of course, this will finish at dinner time.
Yeah. Bottas coming up behind Esteban Ocon now. These two span off and have already made contact twice today. So are they going to make it 3 times a charm? Coming downhill. I thought I heard Martin Brundle shouting then. I was thinking, what was going on? If he's shouting, is he spotted something out of the commentary box window that we haven't seen? Perez, box. I just got worried then for a second. He said, oh, no. I was like, oh, who's out in the pit lane? But no, Perez is coming into this lap. So we are now waiting to see whether Verstappen and Albon comes in. That's the question. And Perez pits, Verstappen staying out. Verstappen takes the lead of the Turkish Grand Prix. Are they going to pit Albon, though? Will they put Albon? I think they are, aren't they? No, Albon second. Perez puts on the Inters. Oh, it's a slow stop. Oh, no. Slow stop for Sergio Perez. 4.9 seconds. A rear tyre was too long. And Ricciardo comes in as well. So that gives breathing room.
That's not unusual for the Racing Point.
Yeah. The wheel's gone sticking. Ricciardo gets a good stop, though, on the Inters, and away he goes. So that stop from Ricciardo helped Perez keep out the gap. He's now got, 5 seconds to Vettel? 3 seconds to Vettel, sorry. So Mercedes aren't responding yet. In terms of sector times, McLaren come in, 2.8 second stop for Sainz.
It's not unusual for the Red Bulls to do something different to the others either.
They're going to risk it, aren't they?
They've made a career of it.
So a 300th Grand Prix start here today for Red Bull. Can they make it a victory? It's also...
Sebastian will not jump into a swimming pool today in a flag
box
because
for
of...
Verstappen.
Yeah, box Verstappen. So he's coming in now. Oh, look at the big
It's too
slide. Both of them
cold.
have. Yeah. Gasly pits as well. But yeah, it's too cold to jump in the swimming pool today. But yeah, just to say, it's Red Bull's 300th Grand Prix start, how they would love to get a victory. It's also AlphaTauri and Sauber's together, because it's the same team, 500th Grand Prix entry into the team under the Sauber name. They race with Alfa Romeo at the moment, but it's a Sauber chassis. So it's their 500th Grand Prix.
After Albon and Verstappen take their pit stop, Stroll should regain the lead with Perez and Vettel behind him. Hamilton's doing it steady.
Yeah, Hamilton's slowly. He knows he just needs 6.
Grenwell says never say excited. We know how Maxwell's. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's angry driving as well. That's why he didn't get a good start.
He wants to push, doesn't he? He's not going to let anything go without a fight.
When
But
on
Verstappen,
wet, you have to glide.
Verstappen pits, and it's a slow stop as well. They had to adjust something on the brake ducts as well. Albon takes the lead, Stroll takes second, and now the question is but Verstappen going to get out? It's a 4-second stop. That's disastrous. Is he going to get out ahead of Perez? Vettel and Hamilton into turn 1. It's going to be so close. Can Perez get the acceleration out needed to pass him? They're going to go out side by side, and he does. Verstappen has a little slide, and Perez takes third away from Verstappen. Vettel is now right behind him on much fresher tyres, remember, because he's got them up to temperature. Verstappen on cold tyres. And Hamilton's joining the battle as well. If this was for the championship, this would be amazing. And it still is amazing, but you know what I mean? If all three were fighting for the same title, this would be a fantastic Grand Prix. Yellow out on the track somewhere. I'm just trying to find out where. And we've got no green. It's green. Okay, so it might have been a false yellow. Marshall, maybe. Because there's sensors, if a marshal goes onto the track, that automatically hits the yellow flag. So this is Hamilton going for the world title, right behind Sebastian Vettel.
Going for our Magnum.
Our Magnum as well later on in the race. Oh, he's so close. Albon, box. So this will be Stroll taking the lead of the race. I think he's already... No, that's still there. Magnussen's been told he wants to box. Is Magnussen already changed over to... No, Magnussen is on inters. The entire field, bar Albon, has changed to intermediates. So don't you... look at that. As it stands... Hang on. How is Bottas on 94 points and Hamilton's on 291?
94 points behind.
No. Oh, okay, thank you, Megan. Thank you for that. I was just thinking there. I think I got that graphic completely wrong. So at the moment, Hamilton is the world champion as it stands in this Grand Prix. And the race leader, Albon, comes in. Vettel goes too wide. Hamilton senses an opportunity. Goes side by side. Can't get through. Look at the spray still at the last 2 corners. The amount of standing water.
It's like steering a speedboat.
Yep, and don't forget the rudders underneath the car as well on the plank. If you get one bit of water at the wrong point, you will spin round. So Stroll leads by 10 seconds to Perez, who has 10 seconds, has a second to Verstappen, as Albon filters in at best in 6th place. And now Hamilton's going for it and starting to get the conditions back. Has been nowhere all weekend long, but he's turned up his A game, just as you said yesterday after evening, Dad. He's going to go for it today.
Yeah, both of them have got to go for it. They're the ones that's got something to fight for. Albon's got something to fight for as well because he's fighting for his seat. Perez is looking for a seat. Right.
Yellow.
Everyone else, it's just let's get to the end of this race.
Yellow flag out on the circuit. I don't know where. Oh, it's Giovinazzi. Oh, no. He spun on the way to the grid as well. And Antonio Giovinazzi is pulling off. Is it an issue because he kept the engine going for so long on the track, and this might cause a safety car, or at least a virtual safety car. They've got to get it off the track.
He's gone next to that.
So there's double yellows out on the track. This might at least be a VSC. We'll keep an eye out on what's going to call. But Antonio Giovinazzi, it must be because he was so long in the gravel when he went off on his way to the grid. He must have just cooked the engine too much. What do you think?
It could easily be. I was thinking of something to do with a sensor overheating, but yeah, that could actually be it. Virtual safety car has been deployed.
Yep, so this will neutralise the field. At least it wasn't a full safety car we need as Giovinazzi gets out of the track. Virtual safty car is out. He becomes our first retirement.
I agree, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Lewis trying to avoid Sebastian when he braked. He nearly had to enter the pit lane.
Yeah, Vettel nearly sent Hamilton to the pit lane. That was some grumbling in the group chat. Yep, I completely agree. That was
and of course,
ridiculous.
If you've got a VSC,
yeah, the pit lane saved.
You've got tyres cooling down.
Oh, good point. And this is where Mercedes' DAS system comes into play. Now, this is Verstappen stop. It lasted 4 seconds. Watch the brake duct. Look, they had to remove something. Looked like a sticker almost. I got caught in the brake duct.
something red.
Visor.
Yeah, or visor. Yeah, it looked like a visor. And this was him getting out from the back of Perez.
Whoa, white line.
Oh, he touched the white line. You're right. He touched the white line. Verstappen touched the white line. Look,
Because he spun.
Yeah, we're taking a look back. No, I think he was already on the white line.
Not
That's
his
why he's
fault, but...
Oh, he just touched. Yeah, he crossed the white line. That's what they think of. He might get a penalty for that. Although I'm surprised.
Oh, you'd have to be. I know you're sticking to the rules, but there they are.
Derek
the
Warwick.
gentlemen that change Formula One every week.
Derek Warwick is having a look at it.
Come on, Derek. Be a normal person. You're usually quite a reasonable person.
Jared Ensel, Dennis
the
Dean,
gesture
Derek
there
Warwick.
Was
Yeah, go on.
what could he do? We should have cleaned the water off the pit lane.
Yeah.
And exit.
So I don't think there'll be a penalty there. I can't see them.
I can't. That would be so wrong.
Megan, if you have a look at on the monitor here, it will tell us if anything comes up with an investigation. So the marshals out on the track. Everyone's now slowing down massively as they recover the car. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 marshals to recover one car. That you don't need that many. Come on, get it together, guys. Virtual safety car deployed. Raikkonen saying this bleeping tyre.
Also, you can say Latifi is so far behind now that basically, right, you've got to question whether or not he even wants to be out there.
That's a very good point.
If I was driving in that, I would want to be Latifi because he's taking it slow. He's just like, I'm not going out that fast.
Slow. The shuttle bus has passed him 3 times.
And don't forget about the
So I was taking it to race.
Zamboni. And this is Perez's slow stop, 4 seconds. Now, what was the problem here?
Hello,
Wing
Front
Ryan.
left.
adjustment.
Front left. Yeah. Oh, the gun never went on. That was what Perez's slow stop was about.
Yeah, there was wing adjustment as she comes in.
Yeah, and there. No, it definitely was. You look at the tire and the front one was changed a little bit. Megan?
Yeah, the front left.
Just said hello to Rabazin.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Oh, hi.
People in the group chat.
That front left, the lady got the tyre off pretty quickly. It was the guy getting the tyre on that was slow.
Virtual safety car is ending. So we are going green soon. Hazard is now clear. Get ready to resume racing. When are we going to go green? They can release it any time. There we go. Green flag. Race underway again here at the Turkish Grand Prix. It caught Hamilton by surprise. And he's nearly spinning round as well, having to control that car. And look at that. On the black Mercedes, you can see all the muck and the oil, can't you? Just sort of spewed over.
Yesterday they were all doing a
at
Kylie,
Stroll.
weren't they?
Say again, Megan?
Look at Stroll.
Stroll is way on his own. Look at that. He's got a bigger gap as Hamilton's right behind Vettel on the restart. Vettel pulls to the inside. Hamilton's looking for a move at turn 8. Don't. That's a silly place to try and pass. And the oil seeping through is really evident on Lewis Hamilton's car. You can see it, can't you? Look at the muck on that. It's the oil and the bitumen coming through. That's the oil.
It's been sprayed up from the car in front.
Yeah, from Vettel and the spray at the start. So
That's when you used to bike.
Yeah.
I used to in the rain. That was the worst thing. The cars would spray you
and all
completely.
the muck, yeah. So we're back into turn 11. This is where the DRS would be if it was a dry race. It's not. So Hamilton's going to have to do this all on speed. Here he goes. Pulls to the inside of Vettel finally. Into the braking zone. Yeah. Oh, he nearly hits the back of him though. And he has to go very wide. And he's off the track. And through goes Albon. Albon goes through. And now Vettel's backing up so much. Albon's nearly been repassed by Hamilton. It's all so close out of the last corner. And Vettel's looking in his mirrors thinking, who's behind me now? That was Vettel sort of getting grip, didn't he, in the middle part of the
Lewis
corner.
is thinking, Alex, go on, take him off for me.
Now, the problem was there, if we could love to see a replay, Vettel was going wide, and then suddenly in the middle part of the corner, he got grip, and the car gripped back up. Oh, brakes aren't working, Lewis is saying.
Too cold.
Yeah.
Well, you're on wet weather. Of course the brakes aren't going to be working. You have to brake like 2 seconds before you actually have to brake.
Let's have a look again.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point, yeah. Watch Vettel, look, in the mid-part. So here comes
Brake
Hamilton. Look at Vettel, turns into the corner, and all of a sudden, look, they're there. The car grips up mid-corner. So he gets more grip. There it is again, look. It's better on the off-board, look. Hamilton goes straight.
He should have started braking.
And there's the grip, and it caught Lewis out big time.
He should have started braking just before the 150 mark.
And he's now side by side, trying to go around the outside at turn 8. Hamilton trying to pass Vettel. He backed out of that one. Sunshine on the track. So that rain isn't actually arriving yet, is it? So this
Are
track
you
might
saying
dry
there's
out.
sunshine on a rainy day?
Yes, there is. There is.
I did a tidy one a minute ago,
Now the
spinning
rain is
around.
gone.
I thought you did. What's that?
Now the rain is gone.
Oh, no. There's Megan's one. Spot the song lyric. Albon to fourth. Now, here comes Hamilton again through turn 11. The braking zone for turn 12 might be an opportunity. Hello, this is Verstappen behind Perez into the last two corners. Gasly's past Bottas, so Bottas down to 15th. Albon's been told, come on, come on.
I've got one lined up in case he gets past him.
All right, we'll
I've
wait
got
for you then.
one lined up next time we go to Strong.
So fastest lap for Perez, 1:45.323 at the moment. And this is down towards turn 1. Perez holding up Verstappen beautifully well as Albon does the fastest lap of the race of 1:45.092 as it's just changing every time. The track gets gripped up.
Fastest lap for Alex.
That's great news. Bonus point as well for him then. Going forward as well, you get a point for the fastest lap. Perez very much under pressure now, but handling it beautifully well, you might add.
Sounds too easy to call, but if the rain comes down, that's going to be the fastest lap.
It could be, yeah. Interference from Megan's mobile.
Yeah, sorry. I'm writing something down.
It's okay. Fast lap for Leclerc, 1:44.173. So that just changed over again. Raikkonen's down. He's been passed by Norris. Ocon's been told it's 4.5 seconds now. And Albon's going for a move on Vettel to the inside at turn 7 and gets through. Fantastic move from Albon. And he's up into 4th place. He's passed Sebastian Vettel. Fantastic.
Right, I'll use it for Albon instead. Now it's easy on a Sunday morning.
You can use that one.
Thank you. So look at this. Here comes Verstappen trying to get past Sergio Perez within 6/10. Look, there's the rain clouds coming at the back half of the circuit. It is still coming, but we're going to have to wait a little bit. It's only lap 17 to 58. There's a long, long way to go in this race yet. Down in towards the back half of the track. And Stroll desperately having to hold position as well. Stroll leads the race from Perez. Verstappen's looking good. There's a yellow flag somewhere on the track in the first sector. I don't know where. Trying to find out who that would be. But we've gone green now as down to the start finish straight again. Nobody can get through.
Where's Hamilton? Oh, he's right behind.
He's right behind Vettel, yeah.
I couldn't. He's so close to Vettel. I couldn't see him.
I can't see who went off. Leclerc may have had a little bit of a spin. But nothing's coming from the stewards yet. No sign of investigation. Albon, 1:43.350. Fastest lap of the race once again. So it's now coming back. So this race is on.
Well, it's all coming back to us now.
As Verstappen is up by 0.022. So 22 thousandths of a second. He's closing.
Allowing Alex past him and then Alex to take Sebastian,
Yeah.
right, was a ploy, I feel, by Lewis just to get them out the way.
I think it works, don't you? Because Hamilton's still the champion. Leclerc 1:42.570 takes that again away from Albon. So Leclerc and Albon, the two fastest lapping on this track at the moment. Hamilton's closing behind Vettel as well. But
I honestly feel that Lewis forced that incident to happen by having a go twice, and which lost him.
Oh! Perez went wide at the chicane in 8 and 9. He went very, very wide, and here comes Alex. Here comes Max Verstappen pulling to the inside, side by side under the bridge. That's never usually an opportunity. Off the track, spinning wide and massively down the start back straight.
Max will end up going the right way.
And Max Verstappen spins and is in the middle of the
There we go.
track. And Albon takes 3rd place, and I think he stalled.
No, he hasn't.
He's got it
just
going.
waiting for a gap.
Well, tell you what, back in 2010, that's exactly where Vettel hit Webber. And for Red Bull, it seems like it's a cursed part of the track. He got onto the AstroTurf, spun round, and now he's coming into the pit lane as well. Vettel moves up into 4th place, Hamilton 5th, and Albon's onto the podium. What a top 3.
Albon's not only on the podium, he's looking good for a win.
Verstappen saying flat spots. Well, obviously, everyone saw that live. You're absolutely right. Albon is looking mighty for a race win. If he can win here today, surely that's a contract signed for 2021.
Red Bull have come to terms with the fact that they can't produce the same car for Verstappen as they do for Alex.
Yeah.
Right? This car is much more about, Alex's car is much more about getting grip in the corners and keeping, because that's where he was losing control in the corners. and they've adjusted the brake biases, and they've found a setup involving the wing setup that is much more beneficial to Alex in the race, and it's showing here.
Grenwell says Max didn't look too comfortable at all. Couldn't control the car, tried to be too aggressive.
He did.
I agree.
Massively. That's never an overtaking spot at the back half of the track. He should have
I
waited
would like
until
to
turn
point
12.
out to you all that he ended up facing the right way.
He did, luckily. But it was
Just a little bit of brake as you're spinning, and you end up. Alex is doing well, but Max is trying, isn't he?
Yeah, it all came out because Perez made the mistake at the chicane at 9 and 10, and then coming into turn 11, Verstappen just had so much more speed. But as Gordon said, he tried to be aggressive, pull to the outside. He could have just backed off, but he tried to make the move go
Which
at
is
the
what
wrong
Lewis has
point.
been doing. He's
Yeah.
been going aggressive, trying to pass, and then and just creating a situation for the car behind him.
Oh dear. Well, you try it. As we see at the moment, Hamilton closing back up.
Well, Dad just speaks calmly because he just... I don't know why.
I have to be the excitable one. Coming through at the
Believe.
moment,
I'm saying nothing.
Vettel closing behind. It works. It does work.
What does?
All our commentary stars. It
I
works.
wonder how I speak. I think I'm a mix.
Sometimes I will tell you. I will tell you that sometimes you've just got to let my two children shout at each other.
Yeah, that's how it works. On board with Lance Stroll, he's leading the race by 6 seconds to Sergio Perez at the moment, and he's closing down massively. The question is, though, he's got 2 more sets of intermediate tyres left, hasn't he? Can Stroll actually hold up if the track dries out?
They're not
Yeah.
shouting at each other aggressively. They're shouting at each other, like you say in your thing,
Yeah.
because of the fact they're excited at what they're seeing for a change.
Rain. Megan, how do you read that on the radar? It's around the circuit, but is it blowing in the right way?
Lap 40, I want to say. Or 35.
Yeah, but
Round
Josh,
down.
this
Yeah.
track comes
yellow
round on itself,
in
so
the rain.
you know.
Yeah.
Which means heavier rain.
We
I mean,
did.
it's not like in Japan where the track actually goes underneath itself, or in MotoGP where
Yeah.
it's a res, is it?
Oh.
Where it's above itself.
Hamilton's losing too much time.
Lewis, calm down. You just have to keep on
Yeah.
Our
plugging
energy
away.
is fine. Yeah.
Oh, we're just hearing that back in our ears.
If
for a
I was
second time.
Bono, I would be going, Lewis, Valtteri is in 15th place. Relax.
Yeah, just keep it calm. Hamilton's still on course to win the championship at the moment. I mean,
If I was Lewis, I would just not care right now.
Hamilton's 5th, and that's exactly where he needed to be if Bottas was 3rd and the fastest lap. He's
The
got it in the
interesting
bag.
thing is, people think, oh, it's raining in Turkey. Should it be raining in Turkey, especially when this is the edge of a desert?
Yeah.
But it
Oh,
is the
it's
edge
gonna
of a
get worse.
desert. It's near a mountain range. And as Megan will point out, that when clouds hit a mountain range, they have to lift above them, so they actually let them put precipitation
Because clouds are basically massive amounts of water vapour, and the darker the cloud is, the more water vapour that's in it, which leads to rain.
And
That's
if
why
it-
it's always cloudy when it rains.
And if there wasn't a lot of rain in this particular part of Turkey, then how did Tilke, when he built this circuit, put big roofs on the grandstands?
Yeah. Drained it out completely and roofs
You know,
everywhere.
also,
Under investigation, Max Verstappen for... Not sure,
Crossing
actually.
the white line, probably.
Well, we're not being told, are we? For crossing the line up at exit. Good call, Megan. Oh, we've got a yellow.
we've got a yellow and we've got a stupid investigation as well.
I completely agree. He was completely out of control.
As we said that, you know, the drainage on the track caused that.
Yeah. I can't see who the problem
Claire.
was. Is it Leclerc?
It's clear.
Oh, sorry.
Claire who?
Green flags. Oh, is it Bottas? We're cutting to him now. It's Bottas, isn't it?
I used to go to school with a girl called Claire Skies, and she always had her head in the clouds.
Bottas has spun at turn 2, lost the back end, and 360s.
Third time for Bottas, because Bottas is
Yeah.
the one that's got to try.
I'll
Lewis is the
closing
one
on
that's got to
Perez
remain
if he
calm.
gets past Perez.
Megs, you're
That
talking
much
over Dad there. I
closing
couldn't hear either of you.
control.
Megs, Wait,
I
hang-
was just reading Grenwell's thing.
I couldn't hear what Dad was saying. You were talking over him. Say again, Dad.
I can't remember.
All right, never mind. Megan, back to you.
Arbon
It was something.
You're doing it again. Do we need a talking stick?
Do we need a talking stick?
Yeah, back to
You
you.
two poke me in the back all the time.
So
It's time you learn the language. I treat you both like
animals.
dogs.
Nice.
Yeah, I just gotta do that. Training you both.
Well, it's a hard not life for us. I'm turning that off because you did that last time and we got in trouble.
What?
We got in trouble for that, so don't
What?
do that.
I'm an actor.
Yeah, we got in trouble for it last time. Don't. Stroll leading from Perez at the moment by 4.2 seconds. Albon in third place, 2.227 seconds. Yeah, we got in trouble for that last time, so don't do that.
We really did. Why?
Because it looked like abuse. So don't say that.
There's
Yeah.
no abuse here.
Yeah, but we got in trouble for that, so don't.
My children love me. Put the knife away, Megan.
Don't say that, for goodness sake. Stroll, Ricciardo then in 6th place, Sainz 7th, Verstappen 8th. This is the battle we're looking for at the moment in the run from 6th place at the moment.
I'm gonna feel like I have to say, make a presentation for him what he can and can't do.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to be coming up next. George Russell, we'll get George Russell onto it.
I don't go to HR things.
We'll get George Russell to make the presentation. He's good at
Yeah.
that. Right,
I'll have a look in George's book, see what it says.
we're just having a look now as the field has sort of reorganised itself after the pit stops that we just had and the VSC.
The
But
reason
nobody's passing at the moment, but Albon's very close behind Perez, not Albon. What is going on here? The battle graphic's getting it wrong again.
The reason I do this with these two is because they did it on their own for years with me elsewhere, annoying other people.
Yeah.
But the reason I do this with these two is because I enjoy being with them, doing something they really enjoy and really get a lot of fun out of.
Fantastic. Now,
Stroll is about to lap Latifi.
Now take that
He's lapped him.
sharpened pencil
He's
out
lapped
my
him.
side.
he's lapped him. Stroll has passed Latifi. So as I said at the top of the broadcast hour, and Verstappen's off the track. Verstappen's gone wide at the last corner.
Verstappen's driving like his mother,
Yeah, he's rally driver.
who's a rally driver.
So he called the curb, and I think Verstappen needs to learn, stay off the curbs.
Max only knows one way, and that's forward.
Yeah, so it's Lance Stroll leading the race, but in second is the battle as Perez versus Albon, and now Perez faces the second Red Bull. Gwen Winders also said Albon closing on Perez. If he gets past Perez, he can much closer the gap to Stroll. Yeah, as you said, Dad, Albon's looking very good for a race win today.
Yeah.
Megan, pit stop prediction. The intermediates can only last about 28 laps. They've done 12 to 13 so far. When do you think the pit stop can last this time?
Don't know.
Never even thought
cheers.
about the pit stop, have we? Because of the fact that it's all been all about these tyres.
Yeah. 2 seconds. Albon is in the slipstream coming out of the last corner. Looks to the inside. Into turn one, just backs out of it. Albon's a young, aggressive racer. He's gone for moves in the past that have ended up with him in the gravel, but I think he's learned a lot more. He got that podium in Mugello in very tricky conditions in terms of the race overall because so many cars were dropping off. There were so many restarts, and Albon was the star that day. He's on for his second podium today, but I tell you what, he is closing on Perez.
Megan, they've got 4 sets of intermediates. They used
2
most
in the race.
of them
In quali,
once in quali, if not twice.
Yeah.
Hamilton being told being told to keep the intermediates in good shape because they're waiting for a transition to dry. Hamilton saying that's a long, long, long way away.
So Megan, if you've got 2 sets left that are reasonable,
When if it's turned into a quiz?
This is a question. This is a discussion.
Megan, when do you think they'll go in? About lap 38, 40?
That's right about when you said rain as well.
That's rain time.
So intermediates could be still another factor. So yeah, they've timed it perfectly if rain does come.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We'll keep an eye on it then. It's lap
My head hurts.
mathematics in the morning. It is 10:57 in the UK.
And I've got 93 more maths questions to do today.
Well, you're going to have about another half distance of a race to do yet. So
Because in my school, you have to do 100 maths questions a week and get them correct.
There you go, Megan. Look at the weather radar. What do you think about that? It's just missing us. We're in a dry spot, aren't we?
Yeah, the
But
wind's unpredictable.
Precisely what I was about to say. If the wind changes, that blow a big black cloud right over the circuit. So we'll wait and see with that one.
Either way, they're going to get the outskirts.
Stroll, I'm picking up so much understeer. He's saying on a text message to the team. Well, he's not texting, is he?
When
But it's
they
coming up as
adjusted
us.
the wing on the last pit stop,
Yeah.
they've obviously didn't realise about the track was drying out.
Yeah.
And so,
They've really got
they've got to pray for Megan's rain.
Yep, so to re-energise the car, that's
Which
the
used to
Latifi getting out of the way.
Which used to be one of your favourite programmes.
Which did? What did?
Rain.
Rain.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Still is.
Lovely. So there is Lance Stroll. 3.7 seconds now to Perez and Albon. They're all closing up. Oh,
Still a great day for the Pink Mercs. They're dominating this race. So they've done everything right all weekend.
their first win when they were back in Jordan colours was in wet conditions at Spa in 1998. And there was a 1-2 that day as well. Could it be repeated? Verstappen asking for an update in the last sector. He's replying saying it's still massively too wet in the last sector and no dries yet.
May I just say, to clarify, the show I watch, Rain, isn't spelt the same as rain that comes out of clouds.
Thank you for clarifying
It's
that.
spelt the way that a monarchy's reign will be.
Thank you for clarifying. Albon's right on the back of Perez now. We've changed the gap to the leader, which is what you're seeing on your timing monitor here. That's the gap between the leader and the rest of the field, which is why it's saying it's 2 laps for Latifi. Giovinazzi's out of this Grand Prix.
Bit
Albon,
of rear grip,
yeah,
loss of rear grip there
from Perez. And Albon's very much in the slipstream now, trying to have a go. Pulls to the inside.
Yeah, you've got to, Alex. You've got to be patient. You've got to do what Lewis is doing, but be a bit more aggressive. You've got much more to gain from this race. You could actually win it, and that would be great. Another Brit come tie on the.
Yeah, it's British, isn't he? He's racing under the Thai flag.
He's so British.
Yes, he's got such a thick British accent as well. It's the most British thing I've ever seen from anybody.
Is he from London as well?
Yes.
I love the lad in.
Oh, hang on 2 seconds. Lando Norris side by side with George Russell, and they touch.
They've been touching like that for literally the last 10 years.
Russell wasn't hearing anything on the radio, but Lando forcing Russell off the track for 11th.
Good friends, but when they're on the track, they'll
batter each other completely, yeah. They go up through karting and GP2 together and everything. They know each other very well.
What's the lad in GP3 where he's Chinese? And
that's me. I can't remember.
And
Guan Yu Zhou, is it?
Zhou, yeah. Zhou, and he lives in Sheffield.
Yes.
And
near the Carlin factories.
He's got certain words which are very northern.
Yeah. And it's quite confusing actually seeing everything. Dry line starting to appear on the track, so much so that Alexander Albon's actually trying to find wet parts. And this is the problem, actually. We're going to get dry lines, but it's that situation which I saw.
You don't want to burn out your intermediate tyre.
Precisely. I saw someone on Twitter this morning say, I think it was Sophie, who was a journalist in Formula One as well, who said, I really hope we get a race where it's too dry for intermediates, but it's too wet for full intermediates and everything like that. I'm going to actually try and find the tweet.
That's where the strategy comes in.
Yeah.
It's all guesswork, educated guesswork.
It's too wet for dries.
By the way,
it's too dry for intermediates.
That the clouds are coming in.
Yeah, it's blowing over the back half of the circuit now, so this is the problem.
That DHL bridge that looks like the Humber Bridge is actually a mock-up of the one that goes from one side of the city to the other over the river.
Yeah, we saw that in the build-up show, I believe, if you were watching on watch-along coverage, if you were watching TV.
Because you're 29 miles outside the city here.
Yeah. It's a lovely dynamic. In 2 seconds, this is Norris in a lovely slipstream behind Kevin Magnussen for the last point. Celebrated his 21st birthday yesterday, did Lando Norris, and now he wants a podium for it as well. Trying to get through on Magnussen, hugging the inside line into turn 12 and 13. And Latifi... No, that's Stroll. That's Stroll on the radio saying, why is it so bad on the fronts?
You sure it was Stroll?
Yeah, I reckon Latifi's got a bit more of a French, whereas Stroll is very much Canadian accent.
Actually, Latifi's got a very deeper voice.
So Stroll asking, why is there no front grip at all? So he's going to have to watch that. The gap now 3.223 seconds between Stroll, Perez and Albon. That's closing up. At least there's no Hamilton to ruin his chances right now. I believe, Gwen, when you're talking about Albon in third place. Yeah, I agree with that. I was very critical in Austria and I was very critical in Brazil.
I know, and I'm very for Lewis. And I will tell everybody who's listening that... Lewis actually spends
mentoring, doesn't he? I know where you're going with that one.
Yeah,
so 2 seconds, sorry. Crossing the white line, incident involving car 33 Verstappen, investigated after the race. I didn't know that. I was just letting Dad complete the reference, but 2 seconds. I think you're pointing at Albon.
Yeah,
Oh,
Albon.
2 seconds. This is Norris now we've come back to, side by side with Magnussen coming through turn 8. And he's had to let him go because that's not a part of the
I
track.
had
It's
to shake
actually
your boat 'cause it was about to
discussions.
go off.
Sorry.
It's actually discussions with Lewis that led to Albon being able to actually describe to Red Bull
And Verstappen reporting understeer.
what problems he was having and Gasly were having
Yeah.
with the Red Bull car, which is all set up for the way Verstappen drives.
And
And as we've said, about a month and a half ago, they started trying things after listening to what Alex had said and
finally.
listening to what Pierre
Yeah.
had
Ooh!
said about the car.
Norris slips through.
And they've been able to
Yeah.
adjust it, which is great for them. To have two cars technically very different, which are identical, is amazing.
Coming back from that replay, Lando Norris has now finally managed to slip through on Kevin Magnussen down at turn 12. Lovely move up the inside, no drama, and that was the right place to do it. If only Max Verstappen would remember that. This is how it was done now. We're seeing a replay. So down towards turn 12, gets in the slipstream, pulls to the inside extremely late. That's remarkable. Faith in his brakes in these slippery conditions. A perfect move from Lando Norris there, and that was masterful. Hang on, 2 seconds. Why has Hamilton dropped 2 seconds now behind Vettel? They were right there together, weren't they? The gap now 2.785. Hamilton, I think, has made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, just might just be taking it slowly.
Very bad first sector.
He doesn't
from
look
Merce.
2 seconds behind him.
No, he doesn't, does he? But he is, according to the graphics. Although the graphics have been wrong all weekend so far.
Very true.
Hamil-
And Verstappen has a fastest lap.
Well, he'll need it as well if he gets a penalty post-race. I'm hoping it's a fine. Albon radio. Albon saying the fronts are gone completely. So now it's a question. Who's going to risk it for full dries? It's not dry enough out there for slicks, but it's also too dry for intermediates. We're in a we need soft
We need
inter.
rain.
Yeah, we need rain. I'm completely agreeing with you there. This is a very weird situation where it's too dry for the intermediates, but it's too wet for the slicks. I've never seen this one before.
Obviously, the most influential driver on the grid in the past few years has been Jenson Button, who taught people like Hamilton and Magnussen, how to get the most out of themselves. And the most important thing is, Lewis mentioned it this morning, and clearly Alex wasn't doing this, was that you've got to enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
Alex wasn't enjoying it. He was obviously, Dr. Marco was showing concern about his mental health and trying to get him to focus on doing the things naturally and easily.
Lance Stroll, I think, is complaining about the front tyres, but we're just... Okay. We're being told in our ears that we're not expecting any more rain for the remainder of the race. So now we fall into that category where it's too dry for inters and too wet for slicks. So what on earth are we going to see in this remaining 29 laps of the Turkish Grand Prix? It's lap 30 of 58. We count the last lap, remember.
Gasly also has a number of drivers, but most famously, Alan Prost is on speed dial for him. And Gasly has learnt so much off the French drivers from the past, mainly Alan Prost, about how to conduct yourself and how to make yourself happy. What Joshua was saying about the dirt, you've had two examples in the last few laps.
DRS enabled.
Yeah. Dry enough for DRS.
So it's dry enough out there for the DRS to come in. Track temperature is at 59 Fahrenheit, 15 degrees, 55 Fahrenheit air temperature, 33 degrees air.
If you look at the dirt on the side of the Ferrari on the far side, it's really showing up.
Wind direction is west.
There we go. Look at the dirt.
The dirt is massive on the side of the
coming
Ferrari.
out of those AirPods onto the.
I'm gonna have to put my hand on my
Okay, go to Megan.
Right, first of all, Grandma says give Vettel a podium this season. I agree. But also, The wind is moving west.
Is that moving towards the track?
Yes.
Oh, my
Which
word.
means rain is heading towards the track.
So the radar's got it wrong. So that wind has changed again. We saw it change dramatically. What was it, yesterday in free practice 3, Megan, when it was just going round in a circle?
Is that question saying that Benotti
Bonotto,
actually is doing what a lot of people think he is, and that is not giving Sebastian the best car?
I agree. It seems to be a very bad season for Vettel, doesn't it?
Like
When he was trying to put him in his place last year
Yeah.
and make him number 2 driver, Lewis.
I don't think there's going to be a transition. It's slippery out here as hell. As Leclerc pits. So Lewis Hamilton saying, I don't think there's going to be a transition. It's too slippery out there. So another set of inters will be called. But into the pit lane comes Charles Leclerc. And he's putting on his second set of intermediates to go the remaining of the race. We've just passed half distance in the Turkish Grand Prix. And, so Leclerc going on to another set of inters.
What I think Benotti and co were doing was just slightly giving Sebastian a car that wasn't balanced.
Yeah.
And doing it on purpose, which make, Seb's the type, he could have done with Jensen around him, putting an arm around his shoulder. Right, Seb's the type that gets really worked up about that, and he overdrives the car after that.
Yeah.
And that's when you make mistakes, when you overdrive these cars.
Okay, so people have just joined the chat can see a massive upflow in the group, so we'll go through what's happened in the Turkish Grand Prix if you're just joining us. It's lap 31 of 58. The race started in torrentious conditions. It did not start behind the safety car. Michael Masi, the race director, starting the race with the traditional 5 red lights. When they went out, it was actually a great start from Lance Stroll, but Max Verstappen got a very poor start. It held up his teammate Alexander Albon downhill towards turn number 1. Lewis Hamilton went for a move on the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo reacted to move away, tagged his teammate Esteban Ocon, who went spinning, who then had to be in avoidance with Valtteri Bottas. Bottas span round at the first corner and dropped right behind the back of the field. Later on the opening lap, Bottas and Ocon for a second time came together, and then they came into the pit lane. But Bottas has since had a third spin and is now running right at the back. There's only one retirement so far in this Grand Prix, and that is Antonio Giovinazzi, who after crashing on his way to the grid just before the race started, his engine overcooked itself during the race after it was left in neutral for about 5 to 10 minutes. We are having a currently Racing Point 1-2. They've been dominant since the start. Perez did take second. They are leading, but Stroll's tyres are going off on the front. So it's Stroll leading by 3.6 seconds to Sergio Perez, who's got Alex Albon right behind. Lewis Hamilton is having a very bad day today. He's slipping around all over. But still, Max Verstappen was the driver to be on watch as he was making his way through the field until Sergio Perez made a mistake at turn 8 and 9, and down to the little kink at the bottom of the hill at turn 11. He went for a move round the outside, got caught on the AstroTurf on the very wet, span round at about 160 miles an hour, nearly brushed into the pit wall, and has dropped down to 8th place with a subsequent pit let stop. So we're now seeing the battle for 6th between Ricciardo, Sainz and Verstappen, but it is the top 3 we're watching, as right now back with us, one of the Renaults has just made a mistake of Ricciardo. Sainz has pulled to the inside, and they're still side by side, but Sainz gets back ahead of Ricciardo. But now here comes Ricciardo back in the tow with the DRS that has now been enabled in sort of drying and wet conditions at the same time, and Verstappen's in the fight as well. So it's lap 33 of 58, and that's basically what's happened in the race so far.
We had incidents on the way to the grid with Giovinazzi and Perez, and then George Russell and Latifi were called in by Williams when the pit lane was closed.
I want to say Ricciardo.
Ricciardo pits, but back to you, Dad.
And George hit the wall, knocking his wing off, front wing off, right, when he saw that the pit lane was closed.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And so I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. So, Russell had to start from the pit lane with a damaged front wing. And, of course, that is the race, how it's running right now. Ricciardo's pitting. He's put on the intermediate tyres. Leclerc fastest lap, a 1:49.62. So times beginning to improve. Hamilton's running in 5th, but he's about 10 seconds off, isn't he? What's the gap?
So, Megan,
1.3.
What do we think? Lap 38 to 40 for the next tyre change? Do you think anyone can go to the end on this?
Stroll's just explaining your thing for you. He says there's a dry line approaching, but he doesn't think it's going to be dry tyres. Megan?
I agree with Stroll.
Yeah, not dry tyres. Another set of inters then for the end of the race?
Yeah, they've all got
Yeah.
a set of inters left,
Because
haven't
I
they?
think with
Yeah, they've all
rain
got one more.
coming,
Yeah, so it makes sense to move on. But yeah, so this is getting interesting. But Lance Stroll, well, I'll tell you what, there's a stat here that's on my book here with the fact from the previous 7 Turkish Grand Prix, the average pole margin has been 0.25. Well, Stroll beat that behind. I'm looking at the wrong page, so this is the stat I wanted. Every Turkish Grand Prix has been won from the front row of the grid, with only 2009 and 2010 being the races to be won from second place. So, we're seeing Verstappen down in 8th. To keep that stat, Stroll, the pole sitter, is on his best way to win this Grand Prix. I think Racing Point might just call call team orders 1-2. The intermediates are done on that Ferrari. It's Sebastian Vettel coming into the pit lane. So Vettel comes in, puts on a brand new set of intermediate tyres. Hamilton goes up to 4th place, but there's a yellow flag somewhere on the track. So I can't see who it is yet, Megan. Can you?
cleared.
It's gone green now, but we'll keep an eye on. Here comes Vettel coming out of the pit lane. Oh, he's very, very close, isn't he? It's Albon! It's Albon! Alexander Albon is round at turn 4! Oh, and that's put Hamilton onto the podium! Oh, no! Albon getting too wide. I wonder if Hamilton went for a move. So Albon's now down to 4th. And
It's a replay.
if it's Hamilton again, I'm going to knock my socks off. No, he's just lost it onto braking.
Can you leave Lewis out of this?
Well, to be fair, Albon must have seen Lewis in his mirrors and thought, not him again. So Albon goes off the track as soon as Lewis Hamilton gets into the position behind him. I'm just saying.
Rabbits in the headlights, more like.
Yeah, so Albon spins round, losing the rear
Calm
grip.
down, Alex.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. So Hamilton's now up to 3rd place for once. Albon going off the track was not Lewis's fault. So now it's effectively Mercedes 1, 2, 3. But interestingly, the W10, which is basically this year's Racing Point, is ahead of the W11. But right now, Hamilton is world champion.
If that was Fernando or Lewis in that situation, they'd just carry on driving naturally.
Hamilton's now saying, don't box me on Megan. Look how dark it's getting in the last 2 corners.
I know.
That rain cloud's coming.
I think he feels Megan's right and
Yeah.
that the rain will be coming soon.
So that's why.
Hamilton isn't that good in the rain.
Let's see what the
Well, he
problem
used to be.
was.
He used to be absolutely brilliant in the
Not
rain.
since
Oh,
Mercedes
oh.
recently.
Look, Vettel, the slow stop, 5.3 seconds, but he was spinning his wheels, but he was still up on the jacks. The jack failed and didn't drop him down. Red Bull pit, this is Albon. Look how much lockup there was in that grip. And away he goes. So Albon pits,
Well, he may as well.
finally, puts on a brand new set of intermediates. So that might be the masterclass to get him back in. But now he's behind Verstappen and Vettel, who's behind in 5th place
On
now.
board with Perez.
Well, he's now 1-2,
Still a good
isn't
race
he?
by Alex.
Perez is within the second of Stroll, so the 2 Racing Points are going to go side by side. Yeah, this has never happened. This has never gone wrong, has it? Hamilton asking, how long can this tyre go for? Bono saying,
Not
we
long.
don't know. We don't know.
Not
It's
long.
wearing on the on the front right.
And it's getting very dark here in Istanbul. It's lap 35 and 58. There's an awful long way to go in this race yet. And it's getting very, very dark.
Right, do you want me to give my opinion?
Yes, go on.
We love your opinion.
She's standing up as well, so she's looking at the timing screen now, so she means business. But I'm going to have to interrupt you because Perez is
me?
closing behind Stroll, but we're all good for now. Back to you.
Better be.
That's Raikkonen saying, what the bleep happened there? Magnussen pits as well. Megan, go, quick.
Right, so Stroll is doing okay right now. Could be better. Though so is Perez. Though Hamilton hasn't pitted in 26 laps. Neither has the first other 2. Though their tyres aren't wearing as much because they're not putting as much pressure and haven't had as much drama as the others. Though
Perez has got the DRS on Lance Stroll down towards turn 1. He's about a second back there, so I don't think he's going to make a move here, but the pressure's on.
with the rain coming, they're all going to have to get a much larger gap to actually pit.
Stroll. And Stroll being told we're going to Inters. Stroll's asking why. And now he's been told to stay out. So Stroll's been told. Stroll's asking why are we changing to Inters?
Well, the drivers are seeing a
He's already
clouds,
on Inters.
yeah.
cloud.
Yeah, no,
coming over.
you're right. The drivers are seeing the cloud and they're thinking, well, if this buckets it down, we'll have to pit again. So this is now nerve-wracking stuff for the Silverstone-based team of Racing Point. Who is going to win? And that's Kevin Magnussen out. That's Magnussen in the pit lane.
I told you Magnussen would go out.
You did, actually, yeah. Kevin Magnussen, but it's lap 36. So you're right there, Megan. And he's stopped at the exit of the pit lane. What happened there? He's
So now
deep
he's
in
over
the
the
gravel.
line.
Yeah.
The team can actually reel him back.
Now they can, yeah. So what happened? Coming into the pit lane, it's at an angle.
I think it's a wheel
Wheel
arm
nut.
properly.
Well, let's have a look. Which one? Front right, maybe?
I want to say front left.
It might be the
Say
rear.
front left.
Oh, what happened across the line?
Front left is.
Yeah, front left's not on, and he was told stop, stop, stop immediately. So the race now back underway.
Didn't I tell you last night Kevin Magnussen will go out?
Yeah, well, he's stopped at the moment. Oh, Stroll's been told to box. Now, are they playing him? Are they playing him for Perez? And he's in. Stroll pits, but now Perez is down into. So will Perez lead, or is Perez coming in? No, Perez goes through. Sergio Perez takes the lead, and look at this. Hamilton's now right there. So Hamilton's closing in behind Stroll. So behind Perez, as Stroll comes into the pit lane. Wow, this is closing. This is closing.
What happens if Stroll doesn't win now because he's behind Hamilton?
Oof, well, Hamilton must have to pit again, as you say, 26 more laps. So this will be fresh inters for Stroll to the end of the race. It's a smooth stop. This might just work out still. So it's not over yet, but Stroll's going to have the outlap of his life here at the moment, hasn't he, to get back into contention.
I suppose they all need to pit and Stroll pitting before.
Oh, no! Verstappen! Verstappen gets out ahead of Stroll! Verstappen gets out ahead of Stroll! Race control! Magnussen investigated after the race for the pit exit issue, but no, Verstappen's ahead of Stroll.
Verstappen will still need to pit,
a replay.
Yeah, Verstappen's 18th.
I think
Why?
we need a replay. I think Stroll could have touched the line or gone over it.
Oh, dear.
Well, if they aren't replaying right now, then he didn't.
Well, the problem is now Hamilton is 6/10 behind Perez, and if Hamilton wins
Saw
this
him
race,
touch
I'll
the
be
line.
angry.
I want Stroll to win.
Yeah, front row curse may lives on. Well, they've won from the front row, so every Turkish Grand Prix has been won from the front row. There's never been back from second, so this is really bizarre stuff. Hamilton's now right behind Sergio Perez, but there's dark clouds right over the Istanbul circuit, and I think it's starting to rain again. But Hamilton pulls round the outside and takes the lead at the Turkish Grand Prix.
For the first time today.
For the first time this weekend, Hamilton is topping a session. But they've both got to stop again. And I think Verstappen might not make it to the end, so Stroll might still be the effective leader as it's starting to rain again at the
Hamilton's
circuit.
back right tyre.
He's looking, well, how many laps has he done? He's done 28 laps on those tyres. Perez 26. Verstappen's is 18 lap old tyres. Stroll's on you. Don't write out Stroll yet. Do not write out Stroll. Although if a safety car comes out, it gives the advantage to Hamilton big time. So this is getting tense. Very, very tense.
Unless he crashes out because of his tyres.
Hang on. Stroll saying they're graining already, the Inters. I think slicks were the way to go. I think Racing Point have made a big doo-doo.
Did he say graining or raining?
I think he said graining, didn't he? Look, they're already trying to find grip already. This is Leclerc and
I thought he said
Albon.
raining.
I thought he said raining.
Did he say raining already? Or graining already? I'm not sure. I'd love to. Well, we can play that back again, actually.
I thought I heard it's raining already.
Well, you keep an eye on the commentary, and I'll play the radio back somehow. It's not here.
Try refresh it.
Well, we're back on now at the moment. This is Verstappen, who's in third place at the moment. He's got Stroll 3.44 seconds behind him. Let's hear from Stroll again. I'll just in our ears to see if he said it was raining or graining again. That's just going to Inter, so that wasn't anything there. Oh, hello. We've got an update. No idea. The computers are frozen up in the commentary box, so while Megan figures that out as well, we've got no information, but Leclerc on the radio saying that it's a good job so far, but now look at this. Leclerc versus Albon. And Leclerc's right behind Alexander, and he's trying to pull left and right. There's a Williams right in the middle of Russell, trying to get out of the way as well. It's got very dark here in Istanbul. The sun is beginning to set, yes, but the clouds are coming back over, and it's about to deposit rain on the circuit. It already looks like it's raining in the last sector. Albon nearly goes off. Leclerc nearly goes off. They're all slipping and sliding through turn 11 into the braking zone of turn 12.
It's raining.
Leclerc pulls to the inside and can't get through, so it's still not working out there.
Look at the surroundings. Tell me it's not spitting.
It looks spitting, doesn't it? It does.
I agree that you should never have left the pit lane.
Yeah, for Magnussen. Yeah, for that error there. I think he's back on the track. Yes, he is. He's just in front of these two that we're looking at now. Albon goes defensive down the start-finish straight. Leclerc follows him. Still, the amount of spray offline is unbelievable. So it looks like we will stay on Inters for the remainder of this race, but Leclerc's backed out massively, actually. He's had a massive slide through turn 1 and 2. So I think Stroll said it's raining already. Yellow flag. Yellow flag somewhere on the track. Megan, can you see why? I can't.
Nope.
No, neither can I. But there is a yellow, permanent yellow, in Sector 1. So looking at the first sector...
Norris?
Latifi?
I don't know.
I can't see. No, everyone looks like they're moving. So why there's a yellow, we don't know. I'm sure we'll find out soon. No one's dropping positions according to the monitor. So yellow, I think it's Grosjean.
Maybe there's a marshal on a track.
I think it's Grosjean who's just gone off the track. Let's have a look at Latifi. Has he gone wide? Yes, it was Latifi. The computer refreshes itself. He's gone off at turn 4, spinning.
He's got straight back on, though, so...
Yeah. To your mic. There we go. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Look!
This is rain clouds massively. And look at this. This is Stroll being passed by Vettel. And Vettel goes through to 4th. He's already overtaken Stroll. Stroll's trying to fight back, though. Pulls to the inside. Meantime, Leclerc is round the outside of Albon. Stroll going to the inside of Vettel. Makes it through as well. Forces Vettel wide. And the two Ferraris now side by side. But Stroll outbrakes himself. Loses places to both Ferraris. And now here comes Albon. I think he touched the back. Has Albon got a damaged front wing? No. So look at that. Stroll's lost 2 places already. Coming down the back half of the track as the yellows are out again. Somewhere. So now down towards turn 1. Albon looks to the inside to go very late on the brakes. And there's a yellow third sector. And I think it's Latifi again who's spun at the last corner.
Why is Stroll going so slow?
This is unbelievable. He just lost grip, didn't he? And lost time.
Look at how slow Stroll's going.
So, Stroll down to 6th place. It's Vettel 4th, Leclerc 5th, Verstappen now to 3rd place. The two Ferraris are skidding left and right. And Latifi there saying that the tyres aren't so good. I'm not surprised. Would they be any better in these conditions round about now? Science radio. Could be some rain with 8 laps to go.
They're all looking for a safety car now.
Yeah, they're all looking for safety car. And there's rain with 8 laps to go, apparently. Well, that could come any second.
Who is going to provide this safety car?
Hamilton.
No,
He's putting too much stress on his tyres.
Actually, he's done 34 laps, the same as Bottas. Bottas clicked over to 35. Hamilton's done 34 laps. I think you're right. Fresh rain, basically slick tyres as the two Ferraris getting a bit close to comfort. But look at that. Vettel sparking out his front wing underneath the back of the track. Yellow, again, sector 1.
Swear to God, Latifi, if it's you again. Bottas.
It's Bottas. It's Bottas. Bottas has spun at turn 2 as Leclerc pulls to the outside and gets through. Leclerc passes Vettel down in towards turn 12.
Valtteri back on the track.
Yeah, Valtteri's got back going again. Yellow's flicking out left, right and centre. It's like a Dodgems today.
Yellow again.
Leclerc desperately now trying to hold back, and that's is that Albon?
Latifi and Grosjean.
Lewis is coming up to actually lap Bottas.
And it's all getting very crazy here in our headphones as we try and see what's happening. The green flags. Yellow's out again. Yellow sector 2 and 3. They're all starting to slip off. The rain's coming. The rain's coming down, I believe, and that's what's happening. We're seeing yellows out everywhere on the circuit.
You know, it's going to be a Williams again.
I think we've gone green now. Did you say it was Bottas and Ocon?
No, Lewis is coming up to lap Bottas.
So that's going to be a bit treacherous if Bottas is slipping. Yeah, you're right.
You know, he's literally about 5-6 seconds behind him.
So Hamilton's going to lap Bottas, and if he laps in, that's Lewis Hamilton, the world champion for sure. And this is why we had a yellow flag. Oh, and this is Stroll being passed by Albon. So Stroll's now down to 7th place. So those tyres are graining too much. And this was our Hamilton Bottas, Megan. Right call from you. Out of turn 2 on those bold intermediate tyres with a bit more fresh rain, and he just lost it round. So, and this is, contact! Round goes Latifi, round goes Magnussen. Or is it, yeah, so that's what caused the second yellow.
Magnussen's out.
No, Magnussen's back on the track. He got going again.
Pushed back. And
so, yeah, he's still in the race.
Redid this tyre and
He should not be out.
Well, this is unbelievable. Look at this, 30 lap on. Surely now we look to Charles Leclerc to win this race. Let's hear from Hamilton. Yeah, it's getting darker, and there's a big risk of rain from Lewis Hamilton. What are he saying over the radio?
Bono, the understatement of the year.
And look at this, Stroll's being passed now by Carlos Sainz round the outside into turn 12. Sainz trying, but Stroll's holding the inside line, but goes too deep. And here comes Sainz with the cutback, and Sainz goes through. Oh, Stroll, but goes too deep. Here comes Stroll.
They did this in
yeah.
Pink Mercs did this in Racing Point. Did this in qualifying yesterday.
Too much in the back. Yeah. lost time completely on the back half of the sector. Look, Stroll's now trying to desperately get some damp parts of the track, but it's raining in turn 1, it looks like, because there's an awful lot of water there.
It's not raining in Tokyo, but last 15 laps again.
Well, it's Tokyo drifting here at the moment, isn't it? Forget Tokyo. This is an unbelievable amount of sliding.
We keep saying that the last 15 laps of every race this year has been the most exciting of the lot.
Absolutely. And we're into that phase now. Carlos Sainz, this is how he got through again. Megan, talk us through it.
Well, he managed to get through, but then he goes a bit too deep there, which allows Stroll to get back through, though he also goes deep.
And Sainz just gets back on the wet part, yeah. So Stroll was stuck on the wet part of the track.
It's
Sainz
usually because of tyres and lighter fuel load, but in this particular case, it's also because of the fact that the track is drying out.
Look at how much Hamilton's tyres are graining, especially the right-hand side.
Oh, hello. I think did they just wave the checkered flag at?
No, it's blue.
Oh, is it blue? Thank God for that. That would have effectively stopped the race, because as soon as the flag's out, that's it, end of. So, okay, it was the blue flag. I think they called it in early because it looked a bit suspicious.
What worries me, Meg, is that who is wearing glasses out of the three of us?
Me? Why?
You can't see that's blue. You should have gone to Specsavers.
Well, it was a bit blurry from when I'm standing further back than you. You're sat down looking up.
I know.
And look at that, Bottas sliding. Hamilton's coming up to lap him. As soon, and I literally mean it, as soon as Hamilton gets past Bottas, he will be world champion. There'll be no coming back at all for Bottas from that.
Well, you say that, but Lewis has got to finish the race.
No, Bottas out the points. Right now he's champion. Doesn't even matter if Lewis doesn't finish. Bottas is out the points.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, and he'll be a lap down on the leader. And Latifi's out. Nicholas Latifi retires from the Turkish Grand Prix.
We don't want a Massa situation.
Yeah, where we call the championship early.
We call the championship too early.
So, yeah, but no, I think at this point, if he passes him, he'll be
he's been
champion.
torturing his tyres.
Well, he went for a spin, didn't he? Grosjean on the radio with a long swear there. That's when he had more contact, I believe.
I want to know
whether Grosjean's really swearing over the radio.
If this is just one long swear word or multiple?
I don't know.
In French, any swear word is long.
No, he's still swearing. Every third syllable from Grosjean seems to be a massive swear today. Look at Leclerc.
Of course, you lot can't hear this.
Yeah, you can't hear it. We can in the radio.
We're getting a lot of swear words going, dude, in our ears.
Which is really confusing when you're trying to commentate as well and listen. So, we're now seeing... Kvyat has been told he's 2 laps behind, 15 laps to go in this race, and more rain coming.
Bit of an argument there between Grosjean and the Haas engineer.
And Leclerc's managed to get through on the inside of Verstappen. Charles Leclerc takes 3rd place away from the Red Bull here in the Turkish Grand Prix. And Leclerc is starting to fire up those tyres. As into the pit lane now comes Verstappen. So that was obvious. How many tyres? This is what I mean. Perez might win this race. If he can hold off. Russell in, sliding.
If you see all the dirt that's coming out of the air intakes, right, you've got to think, are these filters now sodden? Yeah,
probably. The filter to stop the stuff getting into the engine. Unsafe release for sure. Red Bull unsafe release, just release. Oh, look at that. Verstappen hitting the side and the back of Russell coming out of the back of the pit lane. And, well, that was Russell really just being in problematic zone. So, unsafe release there from the Red Bull team. So, they might get a penalty for that one. So, that's another penalty, remember, because Verstappen is under investigation for unsafe release and crossing over the pit lane. There's a lot of tapping going outside, and it's distracting all three of us here in the commentary box. It's coming over the headphones.
Is it?
Yeah, well, I can hear it as well.
I'm distracted.
It's distracted me, and I'm trying to look at the race.
I'm trying to think of what it is.
It's forget it. It's that 44-58. Stroll's really angry, and I think Stroll's right. Don't you agree to be really angry? He's just said, it's bizarre how it's really annoying that I was doing fast laps at the beginning of the race in full wet conditions rather than now. I think Stroll's got every right to be angry. He had this race gifted to him, effectively, and Racing Point mucked it up. I would be very angry if I was him. I think his race engineer might be fired. I don't say that, he can't do that. Who owns the team?
Yeah, but you know, it's... He's in the heat at the moment.
No, I think he's got every right to be angry. He was leading this race by 5 seconds, 2 seconds. Sainz goes to the inside to try and get past Verstappen. Oh, this is Sainz. So this is Sainz trying to get past Albon. So the timing monitors haven't updated. Yeah, there we go. Now the timing screen's updated for us in the box.
Also, they never listened to him when he said he wanted to stay out.
Yeah, he wanted to stay out the same amount as Hamilton, and he would still be leading the race if it wasn't for that. So Racing Point really shot themselves in the foot there. I would be very angry. Hamilton's getting blue flags. Or is that Bottas getting blue flags? Yes, Bottas is getting blue flags. And Hamilton says, look, this is the unsafe
Blue
release.
flag's telling him Hamilton is behind him.
Yeah, so he's not going to stop, is he? Look at this. The Red Bull engineers looking at the intermediate, saying how long could they go? One of them was completely flat-spotted. Here's Sergio Perez then, 18 seconds off of Hamilton. I think he'll stay out for the remainder of the race, don't you? And if Hamilton has to pit again, this could be gifted to Perez.
Perez has always been very good on his tyres.
Hamilton needs to pit now.
36 lap old tyres.
Otherwise,
34, yeah.
we're going to have a repeat of when he literally
British Grand Prix.
finished with 3 tyres.
We have the situation where he will come out. He will come out, won't he? Round about Vettel.
Time lost in the pit stop, by the way, for people asking. It's 20 seconds lost in the pit lane here. So that's why Perez inside the 18 seconds needs to hold off. But Bottas is holding Hamilton up here big time and is not getting out of the way. And Leclerc being told, go to the end of the race. And here we go.
Valtteri went wide there.
And Hamilton's
here we
going.
go. Valtteri's just letting him through.
And Lewis Hamilton, with that lapping of Valtteri Bottas, is the provisional champion of 2020. So with that overtake, he has effectively signed the title. Bottas is now a lap down and already off the track at one point.
It's not a very good way to do it, though. You can see that in the faces.
Yeah, and Bottas is off again.
Bottas
His tyres are gone.
clearly lost it after. I think he got damage in that first thing. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks ago that he was racing round with a bit of Ferrari
the cover from Vettel,
lodged into his undercarriage.
Fastest lap goes to Verstappen at 1:39.706. Question here is the reason Hamilton's going so well is that his intermediates have worn down to basically become slicks.
I was thinking that.
Is it good? Should we put slick? Who's going to put slicks on?
The people in the first row are now in 7th and 8th.
Oh, that's disastrous here. There's Bottas making the mistake. Hamilton puts his hand up going, what was that for? I don't think he had a choice. I don't think he was going to overtake him, do you? And now he's had to overtake Bottas.
Yeah.
Well, Hamilton is effectively the champion now. Albon 6th, Verstappen 7th. As you said, Megan, Stroll 8th. The gap between Stroll and Hamilton is 55
Lewis, if
seconds.
he pitted now, would come out roundabout after Perez.
Yeah, just after Perez, who would take second. Verstappen being told about the conditions. Ready for slicks?
Not ready.
Not ready for slicks. Not ready for slicks.
This will be the first time that the Turkish Grand Prix will be won by someone outside the top row.
Fantastic, yeah. Off goes Magnussen again. Magnussen's going off left, right and centre
and
today.
It's the first time it's rained.
It's also a way of
here.
getting him out. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. First time it's rained here. First time it will be won by anyone outside of the top of the front row of the grid. Loads of action as the two Red Bulls will now come together.
7th World Championship as well.
7th World title, another one, and he'll win the race as well. Exactly. Schumacher never managed to win the race. He finished 3rd when he won his 7th title. Raikkonen won that day from Barrichello 2nd, and then Schumacher 3rd back in 2004. Yeah, 4 at the Belgium Grand Prix. That was another mixed-up race. This is another one. Try line appearing on the last corner, but not on the entrance to it. It's only at the exit. It's 48 to 58, and Bottas has just been passed by Gasly. Bottas is off the track again. So it's going from bad to worse. He's even down to 14th place now. So Hamilton's coming into lap. Grosjean, the battle for the attention now turns to 6th and 7th at the moment in this race. So we could be seeing a dramatic with a capital D and a capital moment.
I also don't feel, unless it rains, you won't get a safety car.
No, I think we've been very lucky here today.
It's drying out too much.
Yeah, and the rain's just holding off. It has been a wet race though. This will go down as a wet race in Formula One. Bizarrely though, a wet race without a safety car. How about that?
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. A wet race without a safety car.
We expected a lot more out than this.
I was fearing something massive might happen at turn 1, and it did. We had spinners, and for a second I held my breath because I was. Yeah. What? Oh, it's okay. Our television in the commentary box monitor just needs turning off and on again. It's still streaming, so don't worry. It's lap 48 of 58 at the moment. Yeah, still keep talking. We're still streaming, but we just can't see ourselves. Yeah, so at the moment, it's quite disconcerting thinking that we're off air, but we're not off air. We are completely on air. Hamilton leads the race at the moment, and this is Mercedes pitting for Valtteri Bottas. A brand new set of intermediate tyres going. And as well, Megan, what did you say? Oh, VSC counts. Yes, that's a good point, Gwen. We did have that virtual safety car early on in the race. That counts as a safety car period. So thank you for reminding me of that.
And we're back on.
Yeah, in the commentary box you can still see us, which is great news. Just having a bit of a graphical glitch, I think, there. Hopefully we're still broadcasting. Science being told if rain comes, we need to box, I think, for a fresh set of intermediates. We're green now. So, yeah. It's been a very, very interesting Grand Prix, this one. I can't believe we've had so much excitement from a race with bizarrely, no major accidents. And I was thinking... Thankfully, yeah. I was thinking we'd have a red flag. On the way to the commentary box, I was sat here thinking, we're going to have a red flag here. The race is going to get stopped. I can feel it. But no, nothing's happened. Still 10 laps to go, though, so don't hold your breath just yet. I mean, the Grand Prix...
Look at the dirt all over that car.
Yeah, this is all the... This
so
is the
if
oil,
that's
isn't
on
it?
the outside of the car, what's gone inside into the filters?
I really want to have a look and see if these drivers, if any of them have had their visors open at any point during the race, if they've got lines coming underneath them, like Sir Sterling Moss used to, and all the other drivers. Hate to say it, we've got a yellow flag out on the track somewhere, and I can't see where it is. So there's a yellow...
Ricardo and Norris, I think.
No, we're watching them now. They're fine.
No, it's one.
Third
It's
sector.
one. It's Grosjean.
It's Grosjean. Grosjean
Nice
spun at the
start.
line. Yeah, Grosjean spun at the line. There he is, look, at the last corner, and he's still going 360 round, and eventually gets going again.
It keeps saying the wrong sectors.
It does. It keeps, on our timing monitors, it's flashing up the wrong sector times. But that was
Grosjean's
sector
going
1,
again
yeah.
now. Perez overtakes him.
So that's a lapped car then for Grosjean. So that's Magnussen also lapped, and Russell next up. He's been lapped. Who's been lapped on the board? Everyone up to Kvyat has been lapped. So Gasly down. What's the record for most laps the tyres have been used? Well, do you remember
A few weeks ago.
It was a few weeks ago, yeah. 55 laps set by Esteban Ocon. That was the new distance set, because it was 53 laps. That was set by Rosberg back in 2014 at Russia. It was changed a few weeks ago by Esteban Ocon to 56. Lando Norris side by side with Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo locks up. They nearly touch. And how did Lando not get his front wing taken off? But Ricciardo's round. Ricciardo round at turn 12. Well, that was the question, is that Lando never did anything. He nearly had his front wing taken off. It was Ricciardo just losing grip mid-corner.
Oh, yeah, our timing screen's ahead. That's what I saw.
Yeah, so this is really bizarre.
I predicted that technically.
Yeah, well, our time screen wasn't that far ahead. It's not. It's only about 8 seconds difference.
Yeah,
but
it's
my
just-
goodness me! So Danny Ricciardo drops down to 10th place. Lando goes into 9th place, and this is how it happened. Look, just trying to ask for the power at the wrong point, and Ricciardo spun round and lucky not to take off the front wing of Lando Norris just a couple of microseconds before the spin. So that was very close.
Downhill there and losing the back end. It wasn't anything to do with Lando, as you say.
Yeah, completely nothing.
It was just the fact that Lando was there, and so a little bit more acceleration from Danny Rick caused the back end to get to lose it.
It's very unusual that we've had a Grand Prix this early. It's still the morning here in the UK. It's 11:41. This is the earliest Grand Prix we've had this season. And
It's
then
nearly dinner time. What we have in Turkey?
Turkey probably. Yeah, I've got Magnums if Hamilton wins this race.
We're
I'll win
having
the championship.
stew, I think, and dumplings.
It's stew and dumplings. Yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. As we look now. And this is the battle between the two Red Bulls that have just flicked onto the monitor. Albon just holding off the sliding Max Verstappen down the pit straight. Are the two Red Bulls going to come together just to echo what happened 10 years ago? That would be a bit disastrous. 2010, they both spun off. They're all desperate now, aren't
Bit
they?
concerned about Lewis not going in for these tyres.
Yeah. How many laps has he done now, Megs?
41.
41 laps. And it's been 39 for Perez. So watch out for Leclerc. He's the pit stop behind. They have to pit. Leclerc's going well. Saying that, what's happened to... Oh, Leclerc's off. Leclerc out-braked himself into turn 4 and 5 and went off the track. And has Vettel taken him? No, he hasn't. Vettel's just closed up massively. So Leclerc's struggling in these conditions now. My goodness me. This is turning into a very bizarre Grand Prix in the last few laps.
He was on about Noah and the 2x2 yesterday. There's the Red Bulls 2x2.
Yep. And, oh, sparks flying for Albon mid-corner. He caught the plank there, and the aluminium blocks sparking away. Verstappen now,
I'm
closing
hoping
in.
for a Magnum for dinner time.
I'm hoping so as well. Was it 18 seconds with 8 laps to go? It's still very much likely.
8 laps to go.
DRS open though for Verstappen. He's going to try and close in on Alexander Albon, and this is exactly where Red Bull made contact back in 2010 with Vettel and Webber. It's Verstappen versus Albon. These two don't exactly get along that well anymore. Verstappen very much reminding me of a Vettel from 2010.
How come we've not had the tyre tracker?
So much that it's scary.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't had the tyres, haven't we, tracking?
We used to get a tyre graphic.
And we haven't this time. Down the start, finish stroke. Maybe it doesn't work. Down the start, finish stroke again. Verstappen's trying to look for a manoeuvre into turn 1. And it's not working off there. Raikkonen complaining about the track and just saying they can't get the grip in. But he's in 1 second, actually. Yellow. There's someone off again. I'm trying to find out where on the monitor, but it's not showing us. So yellow flag out. There it is, right in front of us. Pictures. The Alfa Romeo round and Verstappen's round. Oh, spinning in sympathy. Verstappen spins round. It's one of the Alfa Romeos who lost it, and there he goes. It's Raikkonen.
He's so good at taking his foot off the accelerator and just putting it on just at the right time to be going forward again rather in the spin. It's amazing. The guy is brilliant at it.
It's Raikkonen spinning round, and through there goes Verstappen.
Albon got himself onto the watching it. He got himself onto the red and white curb, and so he had a little movement at the back end, and that was enough to make Max
lose the rear,
try and avoid it.
Yeah. So that now really puts Albon back into the better position to hold off for 6th place. Then here's the drivers' update. Hamilton will win by 110 points. Hamilton wants to know if there's no concern of the tyres. And nothing at the moment. He's looking at Valtteri's. He was doing similar lap distance and similar conditions, and there's nothing to worry about, Bono says to Hamilton.
Hold on,
so that's
getting
good.
Flashbacks.
Yes. Tyres are gone, Bono. Tyres are gone. I'll tell you what, if Hamilton wins this championship on the 3 wheels on the wagon, he deserves the record breaker.
I actually hope he does.
I'd just like to point out, despite this is the fact that Lewis Hamilton will become a 7-time champion here today, he will actually become the greatest of all time, because overall, if you go back in the stats, he's had more consecutive races than Michael Schumacher. He's had more race victories than Michael Schumacher. He's had more pole positions than Michael Schumacher. So in that, it puts him at the top. So Lewis Hamilton is 6 laps away from becoming officially the greatest of all time.
That front right still has grooves in it.
Yes, so he should be fine. This should be good for Hamilton. He's just got to plod around. He's done 43 laps on a set of intermediates. Intermediates, by the way, Graham, if that was your question, how long the intermediates can last, they usually only last about 28 laps. So Hamilton's doubled the life of these inters. Unbelievable. I think that wouldn't happen at a normal track. This track has just been resurfaced. It's already slippery, so the tyres aren't dying as quickly as they usually do, say, if we went to Silverstone. They'll be done within 28 laps. Verstappen, though, was caught right back up to Albon, so maybe this battle isn't done yet. As we hear from Vettel. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness me. There's heavy rain predicted on the last lap of the race. Oh, so that was Vettel's race engineer. But here we go. Vettel versus Albon. Vettel, that's a flashback. Verstappen passes Albon on the inside at turn 12, exactly where Vettel and Webber were side by side back in 2010.
You did say Verstappen's a young Vettel.
Yeah.
Team orders there. Alex made no attempt.
No, that was team orders. So even more drama then. If heavy rain comes down on the last lap, who's got fresher inters to take the win? I know exactly who it is. It's Lance Stroll, who's 1 minute 3 seconds back. It's not impossible. He might still do it, you know. I was
But it's over a minute behind.
Well, I was commentating on an esport race on BBB Racing 1 last Monday for the Russian Grand Prix, where one of our drivers in the last lap decided to come in and put on a set of soft compound tyres when the track was dry enough, and everyone on the intermediates was slipping off left and right, and he got the win, but was then disqualified.
If you don't realise,
but
Joshua's day job is a commentator on esports.
Yeah. And there's 2 races on tonight for the CRL League at BBB Racing 1 at 9 o'clock tonight on Twitch. So join us there. It's an absolutely fantastic blast, and I love every minute of it.
He's got to get used to names. That's what amazes me. He gets used to. They all have different names that are virtually
impossible
puns on the real drivers.
Yeah.
And,
you've got to get used to saying
You've got to get used to saying the right name.
Retiring the car. Someone is coming into for retirement. I couldn't hear who it was, but I just heard retire the car. So we'll see who comes into the pit lane next. But yes, you're right. It is just tricky naming all the names. Charles Leclerc in third place at the moment, 27 seconds back. Leclerc could win the race today. What's this? I reckon Vettel, driver of the day, if he holds off Lewis. Candidate, though. That's from Gwenwyn. I think you're right there. I think Vettel's had a fantastic day today. I think Stroll is worthy of it as well, but the team pitted him for at the wrong time. He should have stayed out.
As I said earlier, that Sebastian was so brilliant in the rain.
Yeah,
in his early part of his career,
he was. Sebastian was the new Schumacher. So was Lewis. They were all good in the rain.
Laura Miquez.
Racing Points. Foot twitching.
Whose foot is twitching?
Isn't that the race engineer? It's not my staff now, isn't it?
Is he related to a certain Christian Horner?
Seems to be, doesn't it? This race has big influence on the Constructors' Championship as well. Racing Point would take the advantage away from McLaren. There's only 1 point in it anyway, and only 1 point going for Ricciardo. So Renault will fall behind massively. But in third place in the Constructors, it will go to. Racing Point. Fourth will go to McLaren. Fifth will go to Renault at the moment. And Ferrari coming back in sixth, but close the gap up with a double point score position in third and fourth. So they are closing their gap up for the battle in the Constructors' Championship. It's all going off in the last 3 races as well, even though the Constructors is wrapped up overall for Mercedes and the drivers is about to gone up. It's still for the fight for third at the moment.
You've got to remember, though, Ferrari Racing.
That's Leclerc's radio. That is a 39.6 the last lap. Is Sebastian coming back? Leclerc's asking. No reply.
Chrysler Fiat pay for Ferrari's racing.
Yeah.
Their budget comes out of the sale of Ferrari cars.
Bottas radio.
4 laps to go, said Bottas, and I wish it was less.
So the present world situation means there's not a lot of money going into the coffers and they're having to be rescued by the rest of the corporation. Yeah. And so they haven't got the money that they've had in previous years. I think they're doing a fine job considering the fact that they're like Racing Point. They're racing on a much smaller budget.
Yeah.
Right?
They're impressive.
Ferrari's much smaller budget is more than half the field.
Yeah, and they get the success bonus as well of about 90 million quid per year as well. So it's a bit less this year because there's not been any fans in and the TV rights are a bit down as well, so it's all not going to be that good. We play with Max Verstappen, losing it, and Verstappen's off at the last corner and gets back on as well quite quickly.
There are rumours that Turkey are actually paying half for this race that Silverstone, when they were negotiating their contract, were asking for, offering.
Oh, fantastic. So Turkey paying for this race half the what?
Yeah, it's nice. A fraction, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just wanted to race in Europe, and anybody that was capable of doing it. They only got this race 3 months ago.
And they relayed the track.
The track. That means taking off the old asphalt, repairing the underneath, and so it's flat when it was laid, and it was laid like a billiard table. And unfortunately, it was only 10 days ago.
Yeah, so it was finished.
Yeah,
so it's still very, very
The
slippy.
interesting thing on the start of the race, did any of you notice that the different types of asphalt that was laid meant that the right-hand side was almost dry?
Yeah, and that's why that's why Lewis got a great start. Oh, Lewis Hamilton saying, okay, Bono's just told Lewis. Oh, they're stopping. Hamilton's stopping.
Yeah, they've got enough time.
Yeah, so this is what's happening. So they're going to go for a safety stop because Bono...
Got to get this right.
Yeah, Bono's just said over the radio that if Hamilton, I think, not in the pit lane just yet. So Bono's just come over the radio saying, if the rain comes on the last lap, so even they're thinking, those tyres won't last, Lewis said. So Bono's going, that's why we're going for safety stop. They've got 25 seconds to Perez. And Perez is off. As he gets back on.
Yeah, that'll give him
it's Stroll. Sorry, it's Stroll. It's Stroll wide again, and through goes Lando Norris. Norris goes to wait, Stroll off the track again.
Lewis has got to come in the next...
yeah. Oh, look at that. McLaren are happy with that one, but now...
10 seconds.
The attention's turning to Ferrari. Leclerc's 3 seconds behind Perez. If that heavy rain comes down, Leclerc has fresher tyres.
Hamilton radio.
Lewis has gone past.
It's too late. He's saying it's too late. It's too slippery out there. So they're not pitting. So they'll have to pit lap 58. So are they going to pit this lap? and then go on to the last lap with a new set of tyres. Oh, that's close. Leclerc, 3 seconds behind Perez. If it rains heavily, Leclerc will have better tyres and will be right there. So this race is still up for grabs.
But this championship
is done.
Is not done, but it's looking 99% in Lewis's favour.
It's done.
No, look, as Damon Hill said back in 1996, it doesn't matter that Jacques Villeneuve was off the track. Never celebrate until you cross the line and take the checkered flag. Because even though Villeneuve was out of the race, never celebrate until that.
That's what happened with Massa.
We all remember happened in 2008. Hamilton winning.
Massa's dad and family and all the things.
I don't remember 2008.
I showed you. Watched it back.
It's been shown so many times.
Hamilton's first title.
That
was
when
Norris.
a certain German slowed down enough for Lewis to take the 5th place.
Glock.
And he smacked the engineer smacked the rear of
Ferrari,
the garage.
Yeah. Okay, we're coming into the last part of the track.
I felt really sorry for him.
I did. I felt sorry for Massa that day. They should have shared it.
The other thing was, Massa says that it wasn't as bad as it sounded because he won his home race.
Yeah, for the second time, and his last victory. He says Hamilton's staying out. Hamilton's not coming in. So we're on to the last lap. If that rain comes down, he's taking an awful risk.
Just take it easy, Lewis.
Last lap, the call for
He's going to end on 3, isn't he?
Last lap, the call for the 2020 Turkish Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is going for the championship, and that's Ocon nearly spinning out in front of him. That would have been a bit disastrous. Just, as you say, Dad, take it easy into the last sector. Lando Norris very happy with the overtakes he's got on Stroll there. And Norris has the fastest lap as well.
Hamilton's going to end up on 3 tyres again, isn't he?
No, I can't see why it would puncture. I'm just worried the fact that rain cloud's above. Hamilton, this is going to have to be the quickest 1 minute 39 seconds of his life to get through. Well, he's done it again, hasn't he? He's about to become the greatest of all time.
And if he gets round this lap, hopefully he will, right? He's done it by winning the race.
Absolutely, yeah. So Hamilton is about to do it. He's coming through. And this is it, isn't it? You both remember 2008 and how massive it was when Hamilton won. He came so close in 2007. He's into the last sector now. The rain has held off. Lewis Hamilton,
Come on, Lewis.
Here we go. Gets it through. Last sector. He's only 3 corners from home. Lewis Hamilton started karting age 8 with his father in the back of a lorry. They were the complete underdogs. They fought their way through. He went up to Ron Dennis and said, I'm going to drive for you. He did it. He took his championship in 2008. We joined Mercedes in 13, won the championship ever since, and now Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time champion of the world and becomes the greatest Formula One driver of all time. A record that we thought would never be broken by Michael Schumacher has been smashed by Lewis Hamilton. As Leclerc is still locking up for Perez, he's gone for second. Perez goes back, and Vettel takes the 3rd place. Vettel gets past Leclerc as he makes the mistake. It'll be Racing Point second, and Sebastian Vettel gets his first podium of 2020. That is a great podium. But Lewis Hamilton, the lad who we all looked up to in GP2 when he made that fantastic race here in Turkey, makes history at the same track and becomes the greatest Formula One driver of all time. A 7-time champion of the world.
Leclerc seems to be pulling up.
Oh, he's gone right. He took the move, didn't he, on the back of Perez, but didn't make the move.
It's so brilliant. Lewis, we've been with Lewis since he was in the Blue Peter Garden beating kids 3 times his age and more, adults on the remote control cars. He went up to Ron Dennis, as you said, I'm going to drive for you one day. He's not only driven for him, he's absolutely driven for Britain. And,
Magnussen's retired.
Yeah, okay.
Disclosure.
So, what a fantastic race. Racing Point are delighted with second. Vettel third. What a podium. You're right. Leclerc's now got going again. He did stop. And look at that. He's so angry with himself, isn't he? That he threw away a podium. But Vettel gets his first podium. And Perez is second. And, of course, at the track where he made his debut, he'll probably get his last podium for Ferrari. as well. So great job for Vettel there. But Lewis Hamilton, look at that. I like that on the visor. That. And they're showing Hamilton karting as well, going through all his GP2 days as well. Lewis Hamilton, the world champion of 2020. And let's just hear, we can hear from Lewis.
Mate, you have...
No, not there. I'm just trying to wait for Lewis.
Thank you so much, guys.
Lewis.
That's for all the kids out there who dream the impossible. You can do it too, man. I believe in you guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support.
Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time champion. I just wanted to get the word from Lewis there because I know that'll be on the public domain soon, so we could broadcast that. We couldn't broadcast anything else. Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time champion, 2008, 2014, 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. A 7-time champion of the world.
And in second place at least twice?
Yes, yeah, 2000
and one of them was really close, wasn't it? I remember.
Oh, massively. 2007, his first year in the championship. Megan, Hamilton's actually crying. I've never seen him so emotional. Not even when he's won his first title, he was sort of gobsmacked. This is the most emotional I've seen Lewis in years. Megan?
I think it's amazing.
I don't think he thought, do you, that he would win today?
6th on the grid and becomes the first driver here in Turkey to win from further back than second. We're just saying the radio message back again. We don't need to hear that again. But what an absolute masterclass from Hamilton.
Sebastian with his rainbow helmet obviously has been lucky for him today.
Yes, I think he should wear that all the way through that the rest of the year.
It's a special helmet that he's got for today.
And this is again, thanks to the great commentary and insights. Keep it up. Thank you very much for the compliments. And we'll be here for the remainder of the year as well. Despite the championship being wrapped up, we will be here for the remainder of the season.
Unlike Joshua, I am not. I am biased.
I'm not.
Lewis has just been my favourite for years.
I'm very, very happy.
It's not only the fact that he wins for Britain.
The champions, Vettel, the first to congratulate Hamilton on a 7th world title.
11 championships between them.
And that's Sergio Perez congratulating Lewis. Lewis is still in the car. I've never seen him this emotional in my life.
How many has Sebastian got? 4? Yeah,
4.
so that's 11 between them two.
And now Lewis Hamilton gets out of his black Mercedes for 2020 and puts his steering wheel back on.
That car's been looking for it.
It was a stellar drive. And as
he's crying
what you were saying, look
out.
at both Sebastian and, all of them.
Yeah.
Those are nearly slicks in the middle.
Yeah, so that was giving better drive, wasn't it? I've never seen Lewis this emotional. He's sat in the car, he's taking it all in. As he has said himself, he was a young black kid who experienced racism in the worst form throughout his Formula One career, throughout his entire racing career. He's very passionate about the Black Lives Matter movement and equality around the world. He's taken so much on in this year. He's with the pandemic as well. He hasn't seen his family for ages. He only saw his father for the first time a couple of months ago because he lives in the Algarve. And now he's here, a 7-time champion of the world. It must mean so much to him. He's crying. You can see his tears. Lewis Hamilton stands in the car, fingers aloft, and he is the world champion of 2020 and the greatest Formula One driver who ever lived. And this is Valtteri, unlike Donald Trump, can concede when the better man has won.
Valtteri's had quite a few laps to get used to it.
Yeah, he has. And now he puts those down. And where's he going? Lewis going to celebrate with the team. It's a long Parc Ferme, this one, isn't it? There he is. Angie! Big hug for the rest of the team. 7-time champion. Also, just to touch on this, Lewis has already said as well, he's now, just quickly, the greatest Formula One driver in Formula One history is, of course, still British, which is great news for us as a UK broadcaster, but more importantly, especially in this year with the push for equality, the greatest Formula One driver of all time is a black driver. That would not have happened 50 years ago.
Yeah.
No, and it's also to say that Lewis transcends it all.
Yeah.
He is a person of the people, a bit like Marcus Rashford. I know people will have a go at that because of the fact that he doesn't pay taxes in this country, he's saying things like that. But
He
does
donates an awful
support.
lot, yeah.
He does support, and he does it in other ways.
He supports
Right.
thousands of charities. He set up his own organisations. He puts the money into where it's needed. As Sebastian Vettel is interviewed by Martin Brundle,
Hamilton literally just lift Angie off the floor.
and he's very light
he did.
as well these days.
I
Yeah.
noticed that.
We're not going to have enough time, by the way. So as soon as the podium has concluded, we have to go straight off air with the fact that it's the last day of the British Touring Car Championship, and we have to catch up
There
on
was
that.
an interesting thing he said this week about because people were complaining about Lewis because they like to complain about any little thing about
Yeah, they
Lewis.
do. Yeah.
And that Angie has to carry everything. And Angie pointed out that that's in the track. Outside the track, Lewis does all the carrying.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. Gwenmin on the group chat saying, obviously Lewis Vettel rivalry. Is this the last time we'll see them together in the podium? No, I think just look who finished second. The Racing Point, which next year becomes Aston Martin, which is the team Vettel's joining.
And actually becoming a part of the ownership.
Yeah, of Mercedes. No, we're going to see massive rivals coming back. Vettel joining Aston Martin next year will be fantastic.
I think Seb has been so upset over the last 2 years at the way he's been treated at Ferrari. That he's very disillusioned with Ferrari, and once he's left there, he will be open about it because it is an open secret that he doesn't feel they've been fair to him at all.
Who can blame him? They've let him a dog's life.
They basically decided we don't think you'll do it.
Yeah.
We're bringing in this young kid, and from day one, that young kid was like number one.
Dominated.
And all of a sudden, Seb was out. And it's a disgusting way to operate, but it's the ruthless world of Formula One.
They're bringing Carlos Sainz in next year, of course, to replace him. I'm very much looking at how that works.
Perez, we don't know where he's going to be next year, but he's done himself so much good.
Can I just say,
in this second place?
I think with this second place podium here, I think he's just signed a contract with Red Bull to replace
I
Albon.
don't know.
There's been a lot of rumours that we're going there.
I know,
Probably.
but as I say, they have realised that with Albon and Gasly, it was their setup of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And so that's why they've given him a month to sort things out.
He's got to the end of the season now, yeah.
He did pretty well today for
Verstappen ended up ahead of him, yeah. So 6th to 7th, but they both had spins today. So
yeah.
Verstappen having 2 spins and 3 spins even, and still finishing ahead of Albon might not be a good look.
Perez just gets on with it.
Yeah.
There's no politics with Perez, and so does Lewis.
I think you have to feel for Lance Stroll.
What I'm talking about Formula One politics, right? Lewis doesn't get involved in the Formula One politics.
Yeah.
He has his little spats with people like Sebastian and Nico, right? Mind game things and things like that. But the actual day-to-day politics, I think they listen to him too much. And, he doesn't need to do that. And Perez he's so glad to be here on this grid.
Massively, yeah.
If you think where Lewis came from, Perez came from a much more, harder background than Lewis. Although Lewis, when he said about the early days in Stevenage, where, everything, all the money was, his dad was doing 2 jobs, and so that they could pour money into the thing. It's the same with Perez, right? Some of these guys have billionaire fathers.
Stroll.
Latifi.
Yeah.
Right? Massa. Right?
Massa's dad was paying for everybody else's crash damage.
Yes, he was.
For the first few years of his career.
Because Massa kept doing so many mistakes and crashing into people that Massa's dad was actually paying for the repairs, virtually, which was a great thing to do.
Martin Brundle's waiting for
Lewis.
And Lewis is going around congratulating everybody. Oh, Martin, we'll get to the interview.
When you're a broadcaster at the track, this day is the one where you've just got to grab your moment.
Yeah.
You've just got to, if he walks past you, grab him.
Yeah. And it could be Championship Day. So I'll tell you what, this could be World Championship Day because Lewis Hamilton's just won the Formula One World Championship. Coming up is the MotoGP race where Jan Mir could win the World Championship, although he's starting quite far back. He might go down to Portimao. But the British Touring Car Championship will also be decided. So this is
Mir win the race today, and actually, because he hasn't up to now, has he?
Mir won last weekend in...
Did he?
Europe,
Oh, yeah. Well, Joshua, that's because you let me do the races so late.
I forgot it. Sorry, I forgot when I was coming up to the commentary box yesterday to do the MotoGP qualifying. I was like, has he
Yes,
won a
he
race
did.
yet? Yeah, he won.
No,
he won in
did
Europe.
he win? Yes, last time. I'm not
He
sure.
won
he
in
did.
Europe. He won Europe. Yes, he did. So he's starting 16th, I think, today. So he's not that far. He's too far back.
And thankfully, round here we have a rider in MotoGP called Sam Lowes. He's actually in Moto2.
Yeah.
Right, he's going for the World Championship. He had an horrendous crash yesterday.
Massive accident.
Massive crash. Thought he'd done his wrist in like Jake Dixon, our other rider did, and we was really worried that was the end of his championship. Straight on the bike,
Qualifies 18th.
Qualifies for the race.
Championship might still be over.
It's just like Cal Crutchlow,
yeah.
right? You have to actually tie Cal down not to race.
Just having a look, actually. You keep talking. I'll just have a quick look at Twitter.
And that sort of determination is what you see in all the British drivers. George Russell is driving a car that is 4 to 6 seconds behind the rest of them and produces performance after performance. Albon, he's now they've got the car right, is showing the promise we knew he had.
Well, yeah.
And Lando, everybody is just so pleased with Lando. I mean, the lad is not only really lovely lad, still a kid at heart, but why not? He's only 21. And Josh is only 21 as well.
Hello. Just the Moto3 fight is going down to Portimao. So that's one title going down to the last race. I'm
Josh
not sure about
Josh
Moto2.
just told us the result of the...
No, I don't know. The Moto3 race is going down to the last race. I don't think, though...
this is a lot of pressure off Lewis because it's Lewis deals with pressure pretty well, but it's still a lot of pressure for the lad.
The Moto2 race is also going down to the last race of the year. So we've got 2 titles to decide next week. Presumably MotoGPs will go down to the wire too.
Pedro's saying sad for Stroll. It was sad for Stroll.
Oh no, we've got to talk about Lance. Where did he end up actually in the end? P9 from the pole.
It was all Racing Point's fault.
Yeah, I think there's a big well, I can't think of a nice way to say it.
Him at the wrong time.
There's a big discussion, a big angry discussion, where fists might be involved later on, and yeah, it's not good. He had a chance of victory clearly today, and it was taken away.
Yeah, but you say that, but Stroll.
He's going to take
half the time people say that Stroll isn't as interested as he should be.
He's going to take his slipper off and start beating his race engineer. With it all.
I wouldn't if I was him because the race engineer is 6 inches bigger than him.
People asking, should I do a shoey? No. What do you think? I've got massive holes in these. I wear them in the commentary box. And throughout this 1 year...
Also, they're breathable.
Yes, they are. Throughout 1 year...
And you've only got Chucky Milton.
This is 1 year of a leather in the commentary box. It's only half a year, and I've already worn out. I've done that
I'll
much
let you
standing.
have some of my orange and lemonade to put in there.
Oh, thank you. No, I've already worn through shoe leather.
Also, I don't like the idea of wasting shoes we own.
No, I don't. I think there's only one I would use. That's because they're brand new and they're upstairs.
I think also people had a go.
You're protective of.
Had a go that Danny Rick gave Lewis his shoe.
Yeah, I thought
it's just a sweat point of view rather than anything else, because of the fact that all these drivers have COVID tests. Yeah,
they're all perfectly safe. Yeah, that's something that we mentioned, I think, in Imola last time out. So this is taking a while. We need to get to the podium because I need this done as soon as possible. I'd like to be off here in about 9 minutes to get the British touring car race in. Hamilton now finally goes to the podium. Come on, let's wrap this up.
I need an ice cream.
Yeah, let's get the magnums out.
Yay!
I've got an ice cream.
Well, you have I can't have a magnum yet. I'm not free until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So that's.
We'll just have a magnum.
So that's 3 for me, Megan, and 4 for you, and then you won't have one.
Oh, very funny. Well, you can have a magnum, but then we'll have a magnum later.
Megan has other siblings,
2 others, yeah.
We both do. It's not just me.
I was about to say. I was thinking. Lewis, look at Angie jumping up and down when Hamilton won the championship and hugging race engineers left, right, and centre. Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time champion of the world.
To be honest, Angie has to jump up to race engineers because they're nearly all 6 inches bigger than her.
Oh, look at this.
There's Ron.
That's 2008, 2014. 2015.
When we were talking
16,
about the
17, 18.
The team principals, greatest team principals. I'm glad you added Ron because although Ron's ended in a cloud, he was very, very successful for a long time.
Senna, Prost, Alonso, Hamilton,
Isn't
Montoya, Raikkonen, all those lot.
and obviously a certain person now runs part of Formula One, who used to be a Ferrari boss.
Yep. Stefano Domenicali.
No,
What? Ross Brawn.
Ross Brawn.
Is that bad that we've got two Ferrari people?
How many is it with Ross? Is it 11 or 13?
13, I think.
I think it's 13. I think he's the leader, isn't he?
Yeah, drivers
Drivers'
Constructors,
Championships.
Yeah. Onto the podium then. We will hear the British and German national anthem once again. Oh, this is a nice fancy podium. I like this one. Let's keep this one. Sebastian Vettel, 3 pictures of him side by side with some cannons going off. I like this podium.
It's just like your bedroom, really, Josh,
It's
isn't it?
LEDs and big televisions everywhere. Yeah, it's quite like the commentary box, actually. So Sebastian Vettel gets his first podium of 2020 and finishes in 3rd place. Sergio Perez gets 2nd. I'd like to point out, if Perez doesn't get a drive next year, that's abysmal because he's just finished 2nd in a crazy race.
If he can name his price in IndyCar, if he doesn't.
Yeah, good point. He would be very well respected in IndyCar, wouldn't he? But the new world champion, Lewis Hamilton, 7 times. Fantastic. He's 7 up.
They did have a strategy worked out in case he wasn't, like he hasn't been for 3 of his World Championships, if he wasn't on the podium.
And we will hear the British national anthem and the German national anthem first of all. Just waiting. And now the German national anthem for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton wins for the 7th time in his career, Megan.
I'd like to point out that during the British national anthem, Vettel and Perez's flags above them were in the wrong order.
It may not be the World Drivers' Championship trophy, but it means the same thing. This victory here in Istanbul makes Lewis Hamilton the 2020 World Champion. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Scares me every single time he throws that trophy.
Yes, he does me. Bludgeon head for champion, not good. The constructors goes to Mercedes, their first win at this track. It's Toto Wolff on the podium, yes, of course it is. And then we get 2nd place to Sergio Perez. No, I think they are in the wrong order. I think the podium positions are in the wrong order. Perez is the wrong side. He should be the other side of Lewis. The podium order's in the wrong way. It should be 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
No, it's the actual plinths that are...
The plinths are the wrong way round. Yeah, that's why the flags were the wrong way round. The plinths are the wrong way round. So Sebastian Vettel gets his first podium of the year. And now, in Istanbul, it's champagne time! Toto Wolff has to put his hood up to celebrate. It's not. Oh, well, of course, it's not real champagne, is it? It's the prosecco and rosewater stuff that we get here. But now they try and bang it as well. It's champagne time, but it's not really all that good. So the confetti and the cannons go off. Lewis Hamilton.
Only one driver of the day.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton.
Vettel 2nd.
So
Vettel had a great day.
They pour it all over Sebastian and Toto.
Perez 3rd. So the actual result
Oh, there goes Lewis.
is correct for drivers as well.
And right down the back goes the champagne down Toto Wolff.
Perez is just like, I'm just going to drink this.
Yeah, I think it's rose water, isn't it? It's not proper champagne at the moment, or is that carbon stuff that never actually works as well. But the podium is still the same. Sebastian Vettel having a swig. So Lewis Hamilton, the greatest Formula One driver of all time. He's 7 times champion. He's equal with Schumacher. But in terms of race wins and pole positions and points, he goes well over Michael.
Sport is sport, but you've got to feel for Bottas.
Yeah, Bottas.
It really wasn't his weekend.
Or every time there's a winner, and all the time there's a loser in second place as well. So 2021, hopefully, will be a bit closer as Lewis goes for his 8th title. But that wraps it up. Final word, please, from you two for today's race and this weekend. Starts off with Megan.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. He deserves this.
So Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix of Turkey and wins for the 7th time a world championship. You can never predict what happens.
The last one on the chat says, just away from Hamilton's glory. Well done, Mercedes, again, producing a great car for a long time now.
Yeah,
yet
7
there's
years.
nobody come close to them for last 7 years.
Yeah. So that's it. We'll be back 2 weeks' time when Formula One heads to the deserts of Bahrain for a double header. The Bahrain and the Shakir Grand Prix will be coming up and it's looking fantastic. Lewis Hamilton, interviewed by Mark Webber, but we have to go off here for the British Touring Cars. Lewis Hamilton, 7 times a champion, the new, undisputed greatest of all time. Goodbye.
Brilliant.